team's bit of choice for now, but we're going to see if I'm right in any regard, or if these teams have been listening somehow and have been able to just go out and now try to prove me wrong intentionally.
Not that we're going to be proven wrong often. No, no, no. But first ban coming up from Homeless will be the Ace. Something we did see a couple of times already from other teams as well. But for now, we will have that out of the match as well. Next up is going to be the first attacker ban in this matchup from LALOOSANCE. This French team wants to show off what they have prepared. So let's see what they are going to ban. It will be a Thatcher, as you expected as well. Nothing too crazy. We're still playing a map, of course, where utility does have a big impact, and you do want to have breaches open. So Thatcher makes sense to get out of your way so the defenders can play much more safely and much longer on their usual positions, especially, of course, with Jäger and Wamai. That is definitely a big impact to get out of the match. First defensive ban, speaking of Wamai, he will not actually see the light of this first map overall. And yeah, we're back to CCS default bans, kind of. I mean, Wamai, I think, has only been unbanned for once or twice. So yeah, there you go. And the last ban coming in once again by Homeless will be the Mirror, also predicted by you. Nothing crazy. That's all the words I have for the bans.
I'd take a 75% success rate. I was only wrong with that secondary attacker ban, and Ace is going to make things a little more interesting. We saw again in the last game and even last week quite a heavy use of Ace on Oregon, because it allows you to get a lot of control. You get that vault hole in 3 different locations. So by getting rid of that, we're going to see a much heavier reliance on the Maverick, the Thermite, and the Hibana. We're actually going to see Maverick and Thermite getting picked by LALOOSANCE here in the first round. Going to be interesting, especially with the downstairs take. Typically, a Hibana would be better placed, as you can do it from a safer distance and be a bit more versatile with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're starting in the basement. Nothing we do see that often. Most of the teams do start in kids and dorms. But like I said, both these teams have lost already once. So especially their opponent is going to know where the weak spot is, where the strengths are going to be, and you do not want to waste a single round. So you are basically going to start on your best bomb spot or their worst, and that is what we're going to see right here. As far as I can tell, Homeless has been most successful in their basement hole, so they're going to show that to us right in the first round. Nothing to lose early on, right?
Yeah, just play it safe. Get yourself a nice early advantage. You are defending first on Oregon. Very standard bans to put you slightly in favor. We're not going to see the Jaeger get removed and the overly aggressive players coming through. It's going to be a bit more normal, and I think this is Holmes' opportunity to set the tempo for this entire map and to get up to a little bit of that advantage.
Absolutely. First flashbangs flying into blue, trying to get rid of all the ADS stack there with my discs as well and magnets. And yeah, for the moment, nothing crazy going on. A lot of droning also from the typical operators you expect that to be. And yeah, the first bits of utility are chucked in and will of course do their job. Nothing crazy so far in the first 30 seconds, but of course the attackers do need a second entrance as well, and that is what we're going to see from that Maverick in Big Tower as well. Also, that is nothing crazy. I mean, we have seen Oregon once today already. A lot of guys do like to call it Borigan because of that as well. But there we go. We have the first little bit of opener. Maxis shuts down Mowgli, and the refrag is there right after on to Maxis. So basically, nice little trade there. Jäger against Ash. But Ash, I think, also already used all of her utilities, so nothing crazy going on. And that is the first entrance points. But big important factor here to note, ours is still up in Big Tower. And I'm not sure if he's drone and if they know what is going to happen sooner or later.
Yeah, I mean, if he can navigate his way down silently, he has the potential to pull off a really impressive flank that could completely change the composition of this round. For the time being, though, he's just being cautious, and Nomad air jab is set in place to potentially deny his rotation later on in the round, as Mazdamod is struggling a little bit to get this hatch open. Foster, though, is going to be the next one in a gunfight, as MFC, wanting to get aggressive, peeking down that long hallway. Ours managed to navigate his way down, but is going to get caught out. Majestics ready and waiting for the push, meaning that the attackers now have the man advantage.
Absolutely. And 1 minute left on the clock, and thoroughly they're working their way through that basement. But Foster and also the setup is still in place for the defenders. Really nice setup there, not gonna lie. Gives them that little bit of extra pressure for the attackers, so they can't just enter, they can't just walk in. But at the same time I'm speaking, a crossfire will be opened by Slaz, getting just more pressure on the defenders. Run out being tried there, but nothing is working out. LALOOSANCE opens up that first attack in their own favor.
Yeah, I mean, the Goya wanting to get aggressive, I respect it, but I don't think it is quite the play that's needed to just go running on in through the breach into blue. And as well, they seemed to have no idea that someone had just walked on into the site itself and killed the. I believe that was the smoke position in there as well. So just not a lot of knowledge going on around, and I do think ours. If he'd pulled the flank off, we would have been going, oh my, what a wonderful play. It was very risky from the start.
True.
If he'd been droned out, or if they'd had a recognition of him earlier on, he would have died immediately, had no impact on the round. I think all he really did was sort of slow them down for maybe 10 seconds.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was definitely an interesting first round. So the attackers were really going quite intelligently throughout the map, not letting a chance lie apart or fall apart. I mean, basically all they did was working. And even though I was afraid, especially if I saw that Goyo, or not Goyo, I'm sorry, that Kate playing in Freezer, still having the crossfire, not letting them walk into that hallway. But yeah, I don't know. The aggression, in my opinion, as you mentioned, from Goya, for example, was a little bit too crazy. It wasn't just not needed. I mean, of course, the entrance point for the attackers has been opened, but do you actually need to go crazy at that moment? I don't think so, because you could just sit it off. It was, I don't know, 20 seconds left on the clock. And if they enter and you have a sneaky little angle, you might win the gunfight more likely than by just rushing out into blue. Of course, as you mentioned as well, it could have worked. It didn't. Let's see how they play this the second time.
Yeah. Well, they're going to go down to exactly the same site, so they're able to pull out exactly the same strategy, and it looks like that's what they're going to do for now. Ours not overly committing, but this is going to be two very nice kills for Homeless to start things off. Mexis getting aggressive, got himself one, but wasn't able to get one onto Mowgli, as Ryber as well collected a kill. Mastermort just completely annihilating Ours, a beautiful peek on the player who was trying to push up those stairs, and now we're in a 3 versus 3. Ryber is on very low health, basically one shot from any of these guns. And LALOOSANCE, again, you know, a little bit of a rough start to begin with, but they immediately pulled it back.
Absolutely. The rotational being shot in blue as well, but Foster finds out of Mowgli, and that was a brilliant shot, as I can just highlight. Beautiful shot there, and that is also diffuser dropped deep in blue. So the recovery needs to be done here by the attackers, and that is of course a massive bonus for the defenders, especially since the man count is still advantageous for them. Diffuser in that moment will be recovered. Mastermort, as we can see, got it, but he's now focusing first on the breach into blue. Majestic at the same time is peeking the hallway, and does need to be certainly aware that people might peek against him, especially Foster, of course, with the 2x could find something in his favor. Frag grenade being cooked. Will it land on someone? Oh, that was a close toss. Could almost finish Ryba, but not for the moment. First smoke canister going in, dealing a little bit of damage to Majestic, but nothing yet to succeed on anyone. Still 1 minute left on the board. More than enough time for both of these teams to work with, but of course, utility wise, it looks really good for the defenders.
Ryber using a lot of the smoke canisters early, but Optic is going to make up for that by getting rid of Majestic, who was attempting to push down the hallway. Now it's Mastermort, but he doesn't even get an opportunity. Optic, another brilliant peek there to get that round for Homeless. I'm just a little concerned. Ryber was throwing those smoke canisters out like they were going out of fashion. You had the intel that there was someone in that doorway, so to throw one smoke, force him out, yeah. But there's a sort of second or two delay. I think all three of them were thrown within about 25 seconds, when you can realistically extend it out to almost 40 seconds worth of denial.
Definitely. And I think, especially checking that time, which was left on the clock, like there was more than enough time. There was no diffuser plant sound. So yeah, the question is not that he tossed them out, but why did he toss them out, right? The pressure on the actual bomb site was not as crazy to just, you know, go bunkers and toss all your utility at them. But I mean, luckily the defenders won it, and even if there was still 2 C4s in hand which they could toss into that kill box, but yeah, we don't need to see this. Interesting approach now though to go to the top floor now finally. But looking at the score, we do see a really close one. I mean, Brimstone indicated earlier this is going to be a much closer match. 1-1 on a defender-sided map. LALOOSANCE took the first one, Homeless now the second one. But from what we've seen so far, this is a much closer map, especially than the first map of the first match we've seen today.
Yeah, and LALOOSANCE, I mean, again, Brimstone sort of alluded to it. Their loss last week to Dead Inside was just that, not necessarily that they played particularly poorly, but just that Dead Inside played exceptionally well. And being able to see LALOOSANCE, even just in these first couple rounds against Homeless, you can definitely see, like, they can be quite a strong team in the right environment. It's just Dead Inside are much, much stronger.
Definitely, and the attackers are already having eyes on the actual bomb side, and the defenders of course do have that precious utility there, Lucy's gadget, to stop them from pushing in. But beware that we still have a Zofia and an Ashe lined up, so they could just get rid of that quite easily, quite quickly, and then rush in. Luckily Mexis is there to hold them as soon as they might rush in. That's what I was mentioning. Getting rid of the utility first, and then of course you can execute on that later on. Just something I would like to highlight here at that moment. I love to see also a lot of players from White Tigers in the chat right now. It's amazing to see the community coming together, especially here in CCS, and showing what they have prepared, but also showing the friendships they've formed and the fun the game is about. I mean, regardless of what the result is, the game is about fun. It's about playing as a team, succeeding as a team, and I think that's what we're all here for, and that's what we all enjoy about this game.
Yeah, come on. As this round is starting to go on, LALOOSANCE were doing a very good job. Ours just denying that thermite charge at the last second, being able to throw the impact nade down through the floor to stop it from detonating. But they've already gotten Attic open using that Maverick. So if this is going to make things very difficult for Homeless to hold on to the longer that the time goes on and the more that LALOOSANCE is going to be able to open on up. It's just making sure that LALOOSANCE don't get slowed down too much, which is looking like it might be the case, as ours could potentially deny the second thermite charge, but the aggression coming in from Attic has already begun. Ashe charges and nades being thrown on out into the site. Ryber going to get caught, and Mazamot is going to be the first to go down, but his nade does kill Merxis straight after through the floor. MFC is going to get 1, he's going to get 2 onto Foster as well, and now it's a 2 versus 4. LALOOSANCE in the advantage. It's all left up to Optic and Ryber to try and make this happen, and a beautiful play by Optic with a nice shot to finish it off means that MFC is going down. So Ryber trying to hold on to this Attic push all by himself. Optic isolated over by the top of White, trying to navigate in deep to the site to assist his teammate, but he's going to get caught out by the thermite as he's trying to move on through. Thermite going to be going for the plan. As we see Ryber go for the peek, he gets a double right there, and now it's a 1 versus 1. Majestic, he's switching over to the pistol. He needs to try and deny this, and he kills the player on the floor. Ryber loses it. LALOOSANCE already got me hyped up for this one.
What an almost insane clutch coming in from Ryber, but he will be shut down. LALOOSANCE comes out on top 2-1. And yeah, quick little fact I want to bring out here. We started the community poll a couple of minutes ago. The result was 59% in favor of Homeless, 41% in favor of LALOOSANCE. Of course, this is based on how many fans are in chat and what fans are cheering for. But regardless, you guys out there, you think Homeless is going to win. For the moment, LALOOSANCE takes 2 rounds, especially in attack, could legitimately go in their favor. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, Oregon is the defender-sided map. We have learned that the hard way today already once. And taking rounds in attack over and over is really important and really hard. And seeing the 2 best bomb sites, now one's especially by LALOOSANCE, is putting them already into really good position.
Yeah. And Homeless They're gonna switch it up a bit, investing more utility into this middle floor. The site is still kids' dorms. I don't recall seeing all these reinforcements down below, which is going to be quite interesting because, I mean, LALOOSANCE just completely ignored it last time. They just went straight in through Armory, Master Bed, and started putting pressure onto the site. Like, in the first 30 seconds. I'm not sure if investing even more downstairs is really what they need right now.
Yep. And yeah, for the moment, nothing crazy if we look on the operator picks. I mean, I don't know if I'm expecting too much by seeing really surprising operator picks, or this is just not the case anymore in today's meta. But yeah, quite default picks we do see quite often. Picks we do see especially from these teams quite often, quite regularly. Nothing crazy going on there. Maybe something I want to highlight here is Melusi, one of the newest additions to the map pool being released of Quarantine, and she sees a lot of light in Pro League and also in CCS, so definitely of course has a big impact on the game. Love to see how operators can change the meta of the game.
Yeah. And those 3 Banshees can provide a lot of control and a lot of intel, and just the fact that they're quite resilient and require you to either knife them or destroy them using explosives sort of positions them above a Valkyrie cam, which can be quite easily spotted out by an IQ. But, well, it looks like Melusi herself has been quite easily spotted out by a drone and is now stuck in a very difficult position. Foster is nearby and potentially able to help should they try and execute down with more commitment onto this Melusi, but for the time being it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Foster actually going to be throwing out the nitro cell, doesn't get the thermite, was expecting him to be sitting over closer towards the door, but actually he just went deeper on into the closet itself. So Ours still in a position where he could potentially impact trick the thermite, but that's going to be a wasted C4.
And the way the defenders hold this map basically lets the attackers breach quite easily and quite fast. Slash getting the opening frag onto ours, getting rid of that support from Maestron's side, getting rid of all the evil eyes. Majestic though will be taking a lot of damage and return, and Slash finally will be down but not finished for the moment. Optic on the flank will be spotted by the air jab. MFC at the same time gets a shot onto Foster. A lot of shots with the SMG coming up, but MFC finished. Ryba eventually maxes with a refurb onto Mastermord. A lot of things happen, a lot, and really quickly. Finally, we're down to 4v2, sorry. But Slaz is still down, but no kill confirmed could come out here for the moment. The last 25 seconds, peak on top of White Stairs, and both Ash and MFC are able to win their gunfights, and that is the next round for the LALOOSANCE French team in here.
Yeah. LALOOSANCE doing a really good job attacking on that top floor. Very well executed. I don't know what it is with Homeless though and standing right in front of a thermite charge. I mean, I guess you're expecting the impact trick to maybe work, but to just get caught out entirely like that was very unfortunate for Ours. And we are actually going to see Homeless choose to not go back downstairs. I do believe it is available for them to return to the basement, but instead they're going to go over towards kitchen dining. How do you feel about that? Like,
I mean, it's something I think they need. Homeless only won 1 defense so far. Basement, they could go back into the basement, and I honestly would recommend that to them, but they're going for kitchen and dining. Going into kids' dorms would not be a valuable option because they lost twice back-to-back, so definitely they need a different bomb side. Questionable why they pick kitchen and dining. I don't know, maybe they have just something prepared for it. I think, if I'm thinking back properly and I'm not mistaken, 1 week ago we already asked us the question why Homeless is picking certain bomb sites. And it worked. It for some reason it worked. Maybe that's what they want to show us just once again.
Yeah, Homeless, I believe you're correct, just picked different sites to what you would expect. So I believe they played Villa first of all, and they went to the tertiary site quite often just to throw the other team off the beat of what they might expect. But I mean, it was a much closer game against Wanted in that first map, and it started to work against them going for all these different sites. I feel just going for something that works more consistently might actually play to their advantage from time to time. Let's see how effective, though, they are at defending this tertiary site and if it's going to work out for them. But it's not going to work out for Foster as he's trying to get aggressive with that TCS U12, not anticipating MFC to be holding the angle from on top of the bed.
And once again, all the advantage is there, but the C4 to refrag right after is there as well. And the frag onto Massmod is quite heavy. Mowgli at the same time finds Maxis and just clears at the top floor even further. They just have to be aware because Presence is still up there running from Optic in top floor. If they're unable for that, they might have a problem. Also, Ours is taking care of that as well. So the defenders are definitely not giving up in top floor for the moment, but they do need to be aware because we do see Mowgli just slaying through bread right now and getting one kill after another, potentially being rewarded with one another even sooner.
Mowgli could actually use one of his Ash charges to open up that wall and push on into Kids itself, but actually Ours is not going to let him do that. He's going to land the shots. A little bit of screen shake denying MFZ the easy recall needs to get that kill, but Ours is able to capitalize on top of that as well. So starting to actually make the push onto site is Majestic. He gets a kill onto Ryder. The Goyo shield has been popped, and he's just going to sit here patiently. It's Slaz with the diffuser, so he's going to need to wrap on around and get towards the Nomad's position to potentially be able to put it down. But Majestic, they know where he is. He's inside the site, he's close to this doorway, and he is hemmed in. If he tries to move from anywhere right now, he's more than likely going to get caught out. Slaz actually going on in through the breach, trying to make it work, but it's Majestic to go down to Optic. The impact nade going to get thrown on out. It's not going to deny the plan for the time being. Ours running on through actually gets caught by a Nomad charge. Optic is down. This is very likely, but oh. Whew. That should not have been that close.
That shouldn't have been that close. Absolutely, indeed. Homeless takes the next round and proceeds to a 3-2. What happened? I mean, the attackers almost, without noticing or without fighting back, went back into the bomb site, could establish the control there, but then fell for it. I'm not sure what exactly was the problem, but it kind of seemed like the defenders were on purpose letting the attackers go rather further into the bomb site to then execute when they were in their weak spots where the defenders knew exactly how to react to them.
Yeah. I just can't believe that Slaz was almost able to win that. If Ours hadn't looked the right way, Slaz was in a very good position to win that. I think Ours could see Slaz before he actually pushed on in through the split doorway and getting caught in the Nomad almost through that round in the favor of LALOOSANCE, but Home was just able to clutch it on out. Oof. Yeah. What is it with teams in Oregon and like making it so tense?
I mean, yeah, basically the nice little pop-up here just perfectly fits into that question. Cursed land, that is what Oregon is. Both teams we've seen right now lost last week on Oregon, and basically now they can make up for what they did not so well last time. But yeah, Oregon, I don't know, a lot of people call it Boregan, but I don't agree because Oregon sorry, is just showing us a lot of different approaches. Some work, some don't, but it's always interesting because we do all know how this map is played right now because we do see it a lot, but every team has his slight variation. Where do I put my ADSs? Do I put them rather quite forward? Do I put them quite next to the shield? Do I play with Clash? Do I play with crossfires into blue? Yes, no, and these little variations make it so different, even though they're so simple and so small.
Yeah. This variation has Ours being particularly aggressive on the backstairs. He is going to fall down and on into the site before he gets picked off too early. And Mex is, oh, he just wants to go for it. Didn't quite line up for him. That was right on his head through the wall, but wasn't able to translate into a kill that time around. But he's still trying to be aggressive here and not give LALOOSANCE that easy entry on into blue.
Yeah, fighting back and forth, that is what we're used to seeing from Oregon, but that is already a first minute off the board, and the attackers did not really get a lot of map control. That for Big Tower is in their hands, but nothing much more than that. Especially blue is still in the hands of the defenders. It's still watch, there's still a lot of droning going on, so The attackers do seem to lose some speed right now, but LALOOSANCE, it's your last attack, so all you need to do is maybe get into the lead or get the lead even further. On the other side, Homeless, of course, definitely wants to win that. Mowgli, though, wants to stop everyone peeking into him and shuts down Maxis with a beautiful headshot. He seems to be absolutely unstoppable for today.
Oh, not throwing the smoke out means that Mowgli was able to push on up. Optic does trade him out, but that means the wall wasn't reinforced. Now they can start getting aggressive, especially with Majestic getting the kill onto ours. Optic wanting to push on through and hold onto blue for the time being. Is that's going to do so successfully as he downs the diffuser, and he's ready for the next fight, and he wins it. MFZ going down next as Mazdamort gets the frag nade onto Foster. So 1 versus 2, Optics inside of blue. The diffuser is close to him. They're going to need to push onto this Goyo directly, but he's giving up his position by firing lots of shots. Mazdamort going in for the pinch. And it's going to be LALOOSANCE going up 4-2 on the attacks.
Not gonna lie, I did not expect that round to go in favor of LALOOSANCE. They definitely showed me, though, what they are capable of doing. Quick little moment I would like to take to thank our great sponsor of CCS Season 5, Tapsets. We're currently simulcasting through Twitch to tapsets.com, so if you haven't checked them out, make sure to do so you don't miss any CCS action. Massive shout out and big thanks to them. And yeah, let's head right back into the game. We are going to see now the second half of this map. Now we do see LALOOSANCE on defense and Homeless on attack. The score already indicating, though, that we might see a result quite soon.
Yeah. I mean, 4-2 attack on Oregon, you typically throw that in favor of the defenders, but LALOOSANCE defying expectations and doing it on their attack. And now they're only 3 rounds away from being able to win, and it was actually their defenses where they were strongest last time. So LALOOSANCE, when playing against Dead Inside, finished 7-4 on Oregon, and all 4 of those rounds that they won came while defending. So I'd have to admit, LALOOSANCE are in a very strong position right now, and Homeless, I actually thought that they'd be doing much better here on Oregon, but it might not be the case.
10 seconds to insertion.
I mean, I basically said up front that I'm going to expect Homeless to take this W. For now, LALOOSANCE really proved me wrong, and I really do need to adjust my predictions, because if they can continue to stay that, it's not even aggressive, it's just very efficient, both in time, in utility, and also in getting their gunfights won. They're just doing that very efficiently without actually risking too much. So if they can continue to do that through that map and also the next map, it might really go very much in their favor.
Potentially, but Homeless, for the time being, they're going to be taking control over Attic and trying to get a bit more control over this round, potentially this whole game, as we're already seeing Ryber opening up this Attic wall. He's going to be going for the little triangle formation to open up here, but while that's going on, 2 quick kills going over to LALOOSANCE. Mowgli and Majestic going to get ours and Optic, and I mean, that's a Zofia and a Hibana gone. They've only got the Maverick as reach now, and already LALOOSANCE poised to win this round.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Yeah, and I mean, now it's going to be quite hard for the attackers to work with that, because as you mentioned, it's only one Heartbreacher, and Mowgli just finds one more. Basically leaves only 2 last attackers alive, one being an Attic right now, cooking in an 8, the right one backing up right behind, but C4 might be coming their way quite soon. It does do so, but luckily does not connect for them. But like I said, except for Mowgli, everyone on LALOOSANCE is having 100% of HP. They are not fearing to take their gunfights, right? And yeah, so they do,
Yeah.
and so they win. Flawless round for LALOOSANCE.
I mean, yeah. LALOOSANCE just winning that one through the gunfights and the aggression. We missed those opening 2 kills on the other side of the map, but I mean, I think Homeless have just been caught very much on the back foot here.
I mean, can I just quickly get that straight out there? What is going on with attacker teams on a defender-sided maps today? It's the second map. It's the second time. The first map is really played first aggressively on attack, and the attackers and in their favor.
True, but I mean, it might just be a mentality kind of thing. I'm not. Don't really know what is happening with Homeless right now. They've had a pretty good run up until this point, and they did pretty well. Well, they were actually able to take a round against Wanted last time, and LALOOSANCE just blowing them away for the time being, and this might be over quite quickly. I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Oregon here now finish 7-3.
Well, I mean, it's technically defender sided. I would say right now it's LALOOSANCE sided. Whatever side they're playing on, it just tends in their favor. But I mean,
it's like the opposite of when I play ranked.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can sing a song about that, but
Oh,
let's not sing here on cast, right?
off
I
stream.
think
Off
nobody
stream.
wants to hear that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So our producers are offering themselves up to take part in a karaoke night. So we'll be running the show while they do the singing.
Let's give us some cat jams in chat to see if you would be on board for that.
Well, as we get back looking into this round, though, LALOOSANCE have chosen to defend downstairs. So Homeless are going to be needing to switch up their attacks a little bit. They are coming on in through the back tower as before. Sorry, we are having a little bit of technical difficulties on our end, but it looks like we are going to see Mazdamot at the bottom of those tower stairs with a C4 in hand. And yeah, for some reason, I think that was showing up on the stream's end as well. We were experiencing some buffering with the game, so we are just going to come back to our beautiful faces for the time being. I think if we start running too long, Sylvie, you might have to sing that song.
Well, I think it just rang on the door. I think I might need to leave for a second. I mean, maybe for the finals.
Maybe.
Not putting it out there for sure, but maybe. I mean, who would not like to see us singing, right?
I wouldn't
like a
like
siege
to
song?
sing. I just wouldn't like to sing. I don't want to break everyone's monitors.
True, and ears,
Yes.
especially that.
Yeah.
Like I can tell when I sing in the shower, not even the dogs of my parents are going to want to listen to that. Especially the dog of the neighbors is going like, "Ow!" Like everything is going crazy.
To get back on track just a little bit, so LALOOSANCE, we've been talking about, it's sort of been the recurring theme all throughout this match so far, surprising both of us, coming out and playing much stronger than we expected. Is there anything that you're seeing in particular that is sort of contributing to that?
Yes and no. I would just like to say that on attack they were quite efficient. Also on attack, like, they are of course giving up on map control, what you normally expect on a certain point, but they're able to take or to hold that map control for quite a long time, which is quite unusual. I mean, especially blue. Normally roundabout after 1 minute you say blue is in the hands of the attackers, but especially like in the rounds we've seen so far, that was not the case, and it really looks like they can be efficient both on attack and on defense. And I just think they did their homework quite efficiently and quite perfectly for that matchup. But yeah, we're going back into the match, and as you can see, Homeless finished that run off. Unfortunately, we couldn't see that, but at least we did see that last final shot on the Lucy. Foster finished that off, and there we go into round number 9.
Yeah, kind of feel bad for the players in those situations, because you know that someone hit a nasty shot and their shadow play wasn't working, and they're like, oh no, it'll be caught on stream, don't worry. But we're hearing from our wonderful observer medics that it actually went down to a very intense 1v1 at the end, so I'm really unfortunate that we were unable to witness that, but we will be able to witness the next few rounds here on Oregon.
Absolutely. And honestly, I don't get it why people call this map Oregon. Really, not at all. We have seen fight over fight over fight on this map, not only today, also last week. I mean, just the first match being fought to the last second, right? And once again, we're having kind of a close score, 5-3. I don't know how people can say this map is boring, honestly.
And I don't know either, but you know, we are gonna see LALOOSANCE try and defend downstairs yet again, so hopefully we'll get more of that intense action coming along this time. I mean, it's difficult to say because we couldn't see what went wrong, but judging by the positioning of the Nomad at the end and the positioning of the Melusi, I'm going to say that they actually lost control of the site pretty early on, and Mazdamort, trying to get some kind of flank or late rotate off, got separated from the rest of the team. And I mean, maybe a bit more of a heavier commitment onto the actual site itself and not staying as extended in blue for as long, which you were alluding to previously.
Definitely. I mean, now we can go quite neutral into the basement floor on the defensive side of LALOOSANCE and see how they are going to defend it, and see nothing wrong. We did not see anything go wrong or particularly good, so we're quite neutral now in this round and can spectate that in a neutral manner. For now, quite good looking for the attackers. They can drain off, of course, throughout the first utility bit. First C4 flies towards ours, but luckily he can run away and stay alive, remain alive. At the same time, Ryba the Maverick comes in handy to open the hatches, especially, of course, with Kate being unbanned. You just need to have that risk to face a Kate, and of course Maverick is the best option to counter an electrified hatch and get rid of that.
Attack now from LALOOSANCE, slowing down just a little bit as the defense is, well, starting to speed on up. MFC going to get the headshot onto Foster. That's the Nomad now dead. So if any of those air jabs were not positioned, they are going to be wasted, and that's going to provide flank potential for LALOOSANCE. Ours sitting on the back stairs, firing some shots over towards the pillar position. Ryba could potentially throw a nade on down. For the time being, he's just going to have a look around and see what he can find.
Oh, and it looks like we're seeming to approach some issues, but they seem to be dealt quite already. Well, at least we are still in the game. So far, looking quite good for LALOOSANCE, and as I say that, Majestic has to say good night as he got shut down with a beautiful headshot. And therefore, we proceed into a 4v4 situation. Only 1 minute left on the board. MFC is able to take some damage. Max is at the same time shuts down Mastermord. That is blue. That's big tower control. And Slaz already has to rotate back further into the bomb site. But luckily, Mowgli is still able to take care of the main breach and the shield in blue. So they at least can have the pinch still alive and do not give that up on the defender, onto the attackers.
Yeah, but the worry is now, are they overextending themselves to try and hold on to blue? Will they be able to get this reinforcement off in time? We've seen before them just get pushed as they're trying to go for it, but no. Mexus will be able to... Mowgli will be able to get that closed off. Mexus is not going to push him onto him. And it's going to be ours, though, to push onto MFC to get a second kill so far in the round. And Slaz, he's still defending deep inside of the site itself. He's going to get tagged up just a little bit. He has no smoke canisters left, but it's going to be Mowgli to get the kill onto Mexus, and then Slaz the headshot onto Ryba. We're actually seeing Ours down and the shotgun coming on out. Ours able to pick himself up as he is Zofia, and he's going to get the kill onto the Jaeger. The pistol coming out, but there's no time. Oh, the smoke protecting themselves and hiding right at the very end, but these rounds are just so close.
Absolutely. And not only that, no, also the match is getting closer, at least for Homeless, because we are proceeding to a match point. This match might be over in just a bunch of minutes. You know, from what we've seen so far, let's try and break it down. What do we need to see from Homeless to adapt or to overcome whatever LALOOSANCE is putting in their way?
I mean, the aggression from them is there. I just feel that they might be overextending. I know I was just saying that LALOOSANCE was overextending by staying in blue, but we saw the Maverick at the end push on in while the plant is trying to go down. You don't need to push further on down. You just need to hold. You can actually even hold all the way back from the door, or even in blue if you're confident enough, and just deny the peek on a round. If you still got the player over by pillars, then you can be very safely protected from that. But trying to push when it's not needed really cost them that round there. If they'd stayed a little further back, Homeless, likely that they would have been able to take that, because that was a 4 versus 2 in favor of Homeless right there.
Yeah, indeed. And I think also, of course, already the
5
beginning of
seconds
the
to
round
insertion.
indicates how the round might turn out to be. And we do have
Attackers are
something
moving out
little
to locate
prepared
a
for that,
bomb
a
and
nice little
defuse it.
statement. Cutting loose. LALOOSANCE has currently found the opening kill in 6 rounds in a row. And that already means a lot. I mean, they are 6-3 up on a defender-sided map. They won a bunch of attacks and they win sufficiently their first frag. They get the early advantage as they need to, and without a big
Oh,
problem, they do not get that this time. Foster is the one getting the opening frag, so we breach with these 6 rounds in a row, and eventually Homeless will get their way into that. But that doesn't mean a lot because they still have 3 rounds to get on up.
yeah. Not entirely sure what Mowgli was doing there, coming in from upper tower. A very odd position to be at the start of the round as a defender for a big tower defense, but Majestic, he's going to be here. The ADS catching those flashbangs that are getting thrown on in. I do believe there's 2 ADSs there as well, so Ryber might have to waste a nade to be able to get it off, but for the time being, he's just going to go and open up a nice little peek hole along the bottom of the wall, and then presumably a rotate on the right-hand side.
Maverick using a lot of his utility to get into attic and, you know, kind of painting a little nice grumpy looking smiley for us, but of course it will seal the deal, and they have now more pressure into attic, also being able to toss in those grenades, get rid of the Vulcan shields as you perfectly timed just saw. And now they have another entrance point into the bomb site, or at least sooner or later we'll have that. At the same time, we do see Hibana breaching into
Attackers have
the
located a
closet C4 being prepped, and that might be very dangerous for Hibana if she doesn't run away. No, how will Hibana stay alive? I think it's just stuck to the door, but she will luckily stay alive with a bit of fear, but stay alive for the moment.
I think Max has actually caught most of the damage from that. I think he might have been downstairs right underneath where the explosion was going on, but Majestics, he's also downstairs, throws the C4 out, but again, it goes too far and doesn't catch anyone from the side of Homeless. Hours, though, gonna make sure Majestics doesn't get away himself, and as he lands the headshot from up above. Now, it's a 3 versus 5, there's 40 seconds to go. Optic does have the diffuser in hand and is trying to come on in through that master bedroom and might be able to get a plant going down, but the first fight is going to come on over by the big window, and it's going to be the attackers to win. Slaz does trade out Hours, but Optic is going to be getting the diffuser down over by the games. Foster getting a triple kill as he takes down Slaz, and that's going to be the round going to Homeless as Merxus takes down Mastermod on the flank. And, well, Homeless, again, not out of this just yet, still holding on for dear life.
Yeah, they're still holding on tight to it. They don't want the first map to fall into the hands of their opponents. It's the best of 3, ladies and gentlemen. So if you lose the first map, that means a match point and service point for your opponent. And I think we have all been in that situation. We don't want that to happen at all. It just puts unwanted and unnecessary pressure on your shoulders, especially 6-4 is still doable. I mean, of course, you have to attack, but from what we've seen so far, Homeless not doing a bad job on their attacks at all. I really want to highlight that. This map normally is really heavily defender-sided, but the attacks do seem to just fall in whatever's favor. I mean, it's really hard to break down because the teams just played well. Both sides played well. It's not like I would say, yeah, the defenders did a really big mistakes and the attackers just, you know, work with it. No, it's not the case. We just see the attackers, you know, being more and more creative. This map has been defender-sided, but I think, especially here in CCS, maybe even in other leagues, we are seeing a switch in that right now.
Yeah. And part of that is going to come down to the operator bans. Obviously, having Thatcher gone is going to make things a little easier for the defense, but Wamai and Mira are really big players, and they can change the outcome of a whole round, and to just completely get rid of those. Generally, a sort of trend that I've seen when Wamai is banned and not played, the attackers have a much easier time of things. So I wonder how much that is playing into the sort of success rate for these attacks between these two teams.
Absolutely. Definitely and absolutely. And I don't know. I expected much more aggression in this matchup at first. We did see a little bit of aggression early on, but for now the teams really know, and you can really feel that they know that it is do or die day. I just want to highlight it once again because it's really important. If you lose the match, you are out of CCS. So whenever you get too aggressive, whenever you get too risky and you lose, you might be out quite soon. So of course, you don't want to give something away for free and you lose that aggressivity. Some teams don't, especially pointing to White Tigers earlier on. They did not lose that. But sometimes you need to stay aggressive and sometimes you don't. It's really up to personal team composition and preference. For now, I think it really works out for both teams to not be overly aggressive.
Yeah, LALOOSANCE definitely going to get the most benefit from just letting time go by and being able to have an impact later on in the rounds. Foster actually going to get tagged up just a little bit by that spray through the window as Majestic was doing a little drive-by, but Foster's actually going to go up on this window now to try and get a nice angle into the site itself. The frag nade coming on out is going to destroy the Goyo shield, but not really deal too much damage onto anyone there.
Yeah, and that shield gone means that the attackers can at least a little easier push forward from Attic into the bomb site, into the A spawn, or B spawn, I'm sorry, and from there on work their way further into it. I mean, we have Foster on big window, might be opening that up soon, should be able to push and pressure the defenders, which are quite heavily roaming throughout the site, especially Majestic, and get rid of them eventually. But the push will come from Attic and maybe even another direction. Kind of not the best setup, not gonna lie, because that is really a one-sided setup. Of course, you have another angle of attack, but not that you have a lot of pressure on the site. Normally, when you attack, you want to have both Attic, you want to have Master Bedroom, you maybe want to have Deer as well. Maybe you also want to have White Stairs, I'm sorry. So you want to have as most angles of attack as possible, but Mowgli just does not care. When I speak, he shuts down Foster, he shuts down Nomad, but the refrag is there right after. Ryba will shut him down eventually, and the gunfights are just out and rages. Massimor finds ours. Favor once again in LALOOSANCE's side. Optic is able to refrag onto Majestic. Maxis is able to frag as well, and what is going on? Maxis and Optic go absolutely bonkers and shut down LALOOSANCE's defense.
Yeah, they just walked in and killed everyone. They lost Foster at the start, and that seemed to be the signal to just rush on in and frag out. I mean, from the setup that LALOOSANCE was showing, they had all 5 players inside of the site, and that site isn't actually very big. If you have all 5 defenders crowded together, well, just sort of together, if you're not extending out into attic, if you don't have someone all the way down sort of towards like heavily committed to white and then over by games itself, you don't have a lot of space to play around, and it gives the attackers an easy opportunity to pen you into these corners and then just walk in and shoot you. We did see players with C4s who could potentially have dropped down below to
Defenders,
deny the
protect your
plan,
bombs from
extend the
being
round,
attackers.
and sort of throw off the attack and just stay on site. We didn't see that switch up, that change in commitments, and I feel like that probably cost LALOOSANCE a bit more than it could have. If they'd gone for those rotations and tried to do that late round vertical play, it might have worked out for them. And again, we're seeing 3 C4s right now on a downstairs defense.
Oh no.
And I think the server might have crashed. So yeah, I don't know if that was this,
because Kelly's really different. It's a really different sort of operator. You really have to take care of the breach in a different way. You can't just be like, yeah, sure, let's just toss the Thatcher MP grenade and we will, get the breach eventually. So you have to be much more caring about the breach if you bring a Kelly, but let's bring it down to the teams. Let's leave it up to the teams what they want to show us. We do see LALOOSANCE starting up on defense, so they will also start with their first attacker ban. 3, 2, 1, what are we going to see? And we're going to see,
Ooh.
as you promised to us, a Maverick. That is definitely really interesting. Of course, it's not crazy for Clubhouse that Maverick is banned, but it's definitely interesting because it forces players into a very different playstyle, and I think that is what we're here for. That's what we like to see. Next ban coming from Homeless. It's their first attacker ban. Let's see what it is going to be. It's an ace.
Oh.
So you were also correct with that, but that brings us with Thatcher unbanned.
yeah, I mean, that's really strange. To see the Maverick and the Ace get banned, but leaving the Thatcher on the board, bit unusual. But we are gonna, go back to normality a little bit, as we're gonna see what might get removed. And I mean, we might see a mirror here, although teams generally have stopped sort of playing mirror quite a lot of the time, even when she's left unbanned. So we might see this get branched out to something like a Valkyrie or a Maestro, just if LALOOSANCE are feeling adventurous, but they're not. They're going to stick with the old reliable, the classic Wamai mirror combo.
I mean, why should they risk, right? I mean, they are currently a map up. They're defending first, so they could take advantage of Mira, but they will not. Rather safe than sorry, and I think it never fitted more than right now. Church, Arsenal, basement is going to be our first bomb site. For the setup itself, let's see what operators we're going to see. It really looks like a default setup. Probably we're going to see a smoke setup in dirt, some shields into a long hallway next to main stairs. Melusi and Legion doing their job in getting information, slowing down the attackers. And I don't know, do you think we're going to see Mowgli potentially on a roam?
I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised. Mowgli is known for being sort of that player that's roaming around, extending the hold just a little bit. But I mean, you don't want to have someone, especially on this site, where both of the stairways down into the site itself are so easily cut off from the middle floor by the attackers, and they can do so very quickly. So you want to have, if you're going to roam, either a lot of commitment to help keep people alive, or you kind of just say, okay, Mowgli, get your one, delay some time, and you're gonna die doing this, but just make sure you waste a minute while you do.
I mean, it's something we really did see in like year 2, year 3 quite a lot is roaming, and right now we don't really see that a lot, just because it's a very big basement and you can basically play off holding everything. MFC decides to go for getting the drone. Doesn't seem like he will be able to get much more, and potentially even fall back to the basement. Yes, Majestic in the moment will play on blue stairs. It makes sense, of course, to play off the stairs, get a little more aggressive, show your presence, so you slow down the attackers, and then fall back, so you won't be risking too much, but you can waste some time. That is, of course, what most teams tend to do, but that is still risky, so you still have to be really aware of your environment.
Positioning the Claymore down to prevent a flank generally means that they're not going to be investing too much pressure into that far end of blue right at the start. We might see someone go and sit over on the blue stairs, but this site is one where you need to have at least 2 lines of attack going on. Blue is generally one that you can gain quite easily if you can just invest a little bit of utility into it, but then it's establishing that other angle that you want to push through. That's the real challenge, and it doesn't look like Homeless want to go down dirt for the time being, and instead electing to potentially open up Kitchen and go down those main stairs.
Yeah, Kitchen will be, of course, a much bigger influence into the round, but also a bigger impact and a bigger effort to actually get that open, because as we can see, C4s are prepped, so you definitely want to have your sledge to get rid of all the defenders down there. But of course that will not be that easily, because they're going to shoot back, they're going to toss you first up against you. So the first thing you normally are going to do is open up Memorial Hatch, and that just happened. Honestly, one of the best things to do is at first ignore Kitchen Hatch, build up pressure to the defense, and as soon as you got rid of them on the important spots, you can maybe even get more breaches open if the time is there. But Memorial, in my opinion, the most important hatch, because you can also work with main stairs now, and if there wasn't already first, work yourself through the long walls. Maxes at the same time finds the headshot onto Mowgli, takes out the first defender, takes out Diego. Some shots fly back towards the ceiling, but nothing landing so far.
The impact trick going to come on out and not deny the Hibana as the sledge goes off above, and well, Melusi running for the hills so they don't get killed from the hatch. But Max has done a good job. He got that frag on the player over towards blue and is just kind of held onto his position for the time being, not getting overly aggressive and caught out and having to forfeit this entire position. But you know, making sure he's known and preventing easy access and rotations, which is going to make things a little bit easier for his team when they want to go for this execute, which looks like it is building, and it needs to because there's only 20 seconds left. Max is going to start dumping his utility down towards Blue, starting out Majestics and diverting his attention away from the breach and where the plant is likely to be going down. It's Foster with a diffuser in hand, as MFC is going to go down to Foster himself. Ours is the next to fall to Mazdamod, and with 3 seconds left to go, the diffuser finally starts getting placed, but the pressure coming in from Blue has been lost. Optic's got a double kill now. It's a 1 versus 3. It's all left up to Mazdamod to try and find this, but it's not going to happen. And Optic able to close that one out and give Homeless the victory.
Not gonna lie, almost a perfect attack. Everything we've talked about earlier, set up multiple line of sight, set up multiple angles, so they can't focus on one entrance only. They did everything. They had one watching Long Hallway. They had one watching Memorial and coming in from Memorial. They had one coming Blue Stairs. Blue Stairs, getting the attention there as well. They had one Kitchen Hatch. They basically were set up for almost every attack if needed at the same time. The only thing they didn't have was dirt, and they didn't need dirt in the end, because they could collapse onto site and find the important frags in the moment. Sure, the Sophia being shut down in the bottom of Blue Stairs could have been much more, you know, having a much bigger impact onto the round, but it wasn't needed because luckily they didn't plan default behind the bar, but rather went for the old Kitchen Hatch, and they were protected there from the server rack inside of Arsenal, and that won them the round. So pretty awesome attack, not gonna lie, from Homeless. Maybe it's what they needed. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it's their map pick. Maybe they have really prepared a lot of stuff for us to see here, and we might be able to go through a third map, but I think it's a little too early to say that.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate how good that attack was, because typically you'd see teams be able to get 2 or maybe even a third, so they would get Blue and they'd get the sort of Memorial Door maybe, or they'd get the Memorial Door and the Church Wall, and those would be the push. But to get Blue, Kitchen, Memorial and the Church Wall open, and then be able to lose 2 of those positions, but you've so well set up across the entire board that the attack still goes through successfully. It's a really impressive feat that Homeless were able to pull off there.
Absolutely, and let's see if they can reproduce that, because Bombsite will be basement once again, or if LALOOSANCE learned their lesson and is able to adapt to what we have just seen. For the moment, operator-wise, we do see a little bit of variation, and also setup-wise, we do see a little bit of variation, but from the attack, Homeless is just going through the map. They are not investing a lot in the top floor. They have the drone set up, they checked it, nobody went up, no roamer is actually in place, so they can be quite efficient going through the map and, you know, not dealing with the top floor.
Yeah. Now we're seeing, again, minute and 15 seconds in, 2 of the hatches are opened up. Hibana still has 2 sets of Exkyros left if she so chooses to use them on the Kitchen Hatch. She might get impact tricked out of both, but MFZ missed it last time, so if the same happens again, then there's going to be a lot of control once more handed over to the attackers. Mexis has managed to get a drone in a very nice position as well. It's going to be spotting out Mobley, and he doesn't even realize it. Mexis potentially trying to push on down and get aggressive. Both of his stuns going to get caught by the ADS, but there's going to be Foster actually in Oil Pit to get the kill onto Mobley, and that's the opening frag once again going in favor of Homeless.
Indeed, and with Blue in their hand, they can work themselves into Arsenal, but Ryba doesn't care about that. He gets the frag onto MFC, refrag is there from Slaz onto Maxes, and even more peaks are coming in with the SMG into Oil Pit, into Blue. Breach at the same time at the bottom of main stairs, and Short will be open, but Slaz with a beautiful headshot onto Foster, ties the man count once again, regains control over a Blue. Now they have something to work with. Majestic finds the head of Ours, takes down that precious Thermite. Mastermort finds 1, Mastermort finds 2. LALOOSANCE, what is going on?
Yeah, and that is the perfect example of why you need to have 2 established sort of holds and pushes. As soon as they they didn't have the pressure coming in from the rest of the site, so you didn't have that church pressure, they didn't have that long haul pressure in place when they started to aggress down blue. So it meant that there were two 1v1s taking place in blue, one from Mexes, one from Foster, and Slaz was able to get the kills on both of them. Then that entire blue push is negated, and the defenders can then focus onto what was a not fully set up. They weren't far enough into their positions. You know, they weren't actually on the church wall itself. There was one player inside of Memorial, and the player at the bottom main stairs was really late coming down. So LALOOSANCE were able to just navigate and deal with that as an entirely separate ordeal. Homeless's timing in the first round meant that they were unable to do that there, but it fell apart and kind of showed the importance of why you need to have those multiple lines of aggression.
Yeah, and absolutely. And it would also, just highlight it even more. That round looked once again really good for Homeless. They were trying to get their setup done, but they took longer. And LALOOSANCE was, aware what they're trying to do, that they're obviously trying to copy what they did last round, and they could just, intervene with peeking and pushing at the right time. I wouldn't say it was a perfect defense, but it was a perfect counter defense, in my opinion, to counter what, of course, the attackers brought to the table before.
Yeah. Absolutely. But now we're going to see LALOOSANCE attempt to hold on to, well, CCTV cache, and they've got a Maestro positioned inside of Garage. This is a really dangerous position because it's so easy to get isolated where you are, and we saw it happen. We've seen it happen before where you just get stuck down there, and then as soon as the attackers get a little bit of control over Lounge, it's basically already the round over. Well, the round over for you at least, and I do hope we don't see the same again, especially not with a Maestro, and especially not Majestic, but that is a beauty of a nade, landing right on Mazdamort, and that means that wall is going to get opened up successfully.
With a minute, they got rid of Bandit, they got rid of Mazdamort, of a good fragger, and they got the breach open. That is a huge success utility-wise, because they didn't really need to invest a lot. Sophia still has all of her utility left. Sledge still has one of his nades. They have what they need, right?
Yeah. Two EMPs and a nade got them that kill. That is... You can't ask for anything better there.
Indeed, but now they of course do have to work with that and get even more map control, because just off the breach you can't, or barely only can, win the round. The more you have, the better it will be. Garage looks like it's going to be one of their next approaches, but Mowgli is still on Harry Potter, moving into a further deeper into Garage. From Stalk, he's pressured as well. He has to be certainly careful that he's in a crossfire, but he actually downs Raiba. Mowgli finds the frag then eventually and finishes him off. But there's one Foster, in fact, on main door. Foster seems to be not 100% aware of the rotating Jaeger, and Jaeger finds his way back up. 4v4 man count, with bringing us to the last minute of the round.
Less than 50 seconds to go, and Majestic still able to hold onto this position inside of Garage. That Maestro count is going to be feeding him a lot of information if they choose to push up the stairs. But Mexes, he can just see this standing up. Majestic's, why are you standing up like that? Just gets completely annihilated, and now Garage control is in the hands of Homeless. They just need to go forth and seize it. Foster is still outside on this CCTV window as we see Ours holding the breach. It is Optic with the diffuser who's going to be coming on in through Garage, so they're going to be going for a safe plant behind the server rack itself. But MFC getting the kill onto Foster means that these angles are being lost, and MFC is actually going to be able to rotate downstairs with a C4 in hand to be able to deny this, even though Optic gets the kill onto Mowgli and is going to be going for the plant. This C4 is going to come at the perfect time. It is too late for Homeless to be able to do anything about it, and LALOOSANCE win the round.
How could this happen? Honestly, we are playing on such a high level here. We all know where the default plan spot is. We all know how to counter that with a C4, and we all knew Melusi was with a C4 in her pocket down below. Why? I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
what happened was Foster was looking into CCTV and was too close to the window so he could be seen from construction. I think that was the case. I don't know if he was actually challenging onto uh, onto construction itself to deny the flank from MMC.
That of course could be the case, but
Defenders, protect your bombs
it's
from being
definitely
defused by attackers.
that round 100% could have been won. 2 or 3-1 was the man count, if I'm not mistaken.
It
I think
was a 3 versus 4 when just before Foster died.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't have words for this. This is something which, of course, is not supposed to happen. Losing by time is something I don't want to write into my notes. Because, like, they were so efficient. Homeless was 100% on track. They got Garage, really important. They got Bridge in no time without a lot of utility wasted, and they still lost. I can't believe that.
Attackers are
Yeah,
moving out to
that's-
locate a bomb and defuse it.
I mean, it just goes to show sort of like the importance of making sure you're all covering the right angles. Foster was in the right position. He was just very low health, and I mean, even if he had been looking the right way, I believe he's only 1 or 2 bullets from that MP5 away from death. So it wasn't looking good for them anyways. But just a great presence of mind by LALOOSANCE to understand that all they needed to do was gain that downstairs control, and
Absolutely.
that round would be theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is really important because you don't need to necessarily go into heavy gunfights, especially if you know Garage, the attackers do have a lot of cover. They can cover the diffuser if it actually goes down. So putting yourself into gunfights, in a really risky gunfight, of course, nothing you want to do. And playing it off like that is, you know, it's a free round win basically, because you don't really have to risk a lot. You're safe down there if no attacker contests it. So yeah, you're good to go. But heading into the next round, main breach did get open already, and the attackers are right now also working their way into the eastern side of the map, trying to get CCTV, trying to get cash, just to put more pressure onto the bomb side. It's still clap house. You want to have as many angles open as possible just to get that pressure in, because otherwise the defenders can just sit behind their shields, sit behind their walls, and play it off time.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
LALOOSANCE electing to not bring a castle on this bomb site, but it's going to be Optic to get a kill onto Mowgli. That's the Jaeger gone, and that's well, all of the CCTV and cache control that was still remaining after the initial walls getting opened up now eliminated. Ryder's actually managing to work his way on into sort of that gym hallway and is actually trying to challenge the gym door from the prone position. MFC, I don't think it's looking the right way. Ryder is actually going to get the kill onto him. Slaz is going to trade out Optic, but it's going to be ours. It's going to TK onto Ryder, and that's really not what you need right now, Homeless, as this push is now starting to lose a little bit of its vibe. Nexus is going to get one from behind and swing around and take down Slaz as well. Mastermont left now in a 1 versus 3. He has a C4 in hand, but ours is going to be getting the diffuser down. The wall behind him is reinforced, but that means he is stuck inside of the bathroom with only about 20 points of health remaining. That wall is actually going to get breached on up, and he's going to die to the charge. Ours, you were so low. Why did he stand there?
Okay, so a lot of mistakes happened this round. I think we can all agree on that. I would like to point out Mowgli Jaeger, who is the only responsible to take care of CCTV, or cash in this case, for as long as possible, just to delay the push. And he peaks and he dies. In my opinion, that was the first big deal for the attackers to find the way into the map. Of course, getting map control in no time. Like I mentioned, nobody was there in CC, nobody was there in Garage, nobody was there in Cash, nobody was there in Construction. Of course, the Hibana Optic has been refragged from inside of Logistics, but that didn't matter because the map control was lost. They didn't have to care about a, you know, about a setup there anymore.
They didn't bring a castle to a gym defense. I don't think I've ever seen that before. You always bring castle to gym. It's just, it gives you a lot of additional protection. They have to use a lot more utility. I mean, I guess they had the sledge available, so it wouldn't have been as effective if positioned on the exterior windows, but they just completely handed over control of the jacuzzi breach and then didn't have any
5 seconds
castle
left before
barricades
insertion.
or any additional sort of barricades or walls in place
Attackers'
to
objective is
help
to locate a bomb
with the
and
lines
defuse
of
it.
sight looking into gym, because if you're going to leave jacuzzi just free for them to take, then they're of course going to move on to gym next, and then you're just giving them a lot of area to play behind, and that's, I mean, that's how the round wound up playing out. Jeez.
First opening frag from Maxis onto MFC. Once again, early aggression not paying out for the defenders. LALOOSANCE is really, I don't know, being a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too, I don't know, too sure about winning the gunfights, and then also loses them so early. Advantage without needing to use utility at all for the attackers, and that is the C4 gone. The C4 which won the round the last time, if I'm not mistaken, in CC Cash.
Mazdamort does still have C4 if needed, but I don't know. Homers won this round, won this site the first time they attacked it, and that came down to the successful timing, not overextending, and LALOOSANCE being pulled apart in too many different directions at the same time. Homers then lost it the second time they tried it for exactly the inverse reason. They didn't time it appropriately, and they wound up getting pulled apart themselves. So I want to see if Homeless are going to fix that issue. I mean, obviously getting the kill onto MFC right at the start is going to help out, but have they really done, or do they have anything to sort of develop it further?
Yeah, and the next aggression is going to be shown here in blue at the same time as Memorial. Also, Kitchen Hatch will be the next target, and I do like that. Very safe approach, of course. Just have to be aware that impact tracking is still a thing, but since Legion doesn't have any impacts left, the Kitchen Hatch will be open without any problems or any interference at all. Sledge, of course, came in really handy here. Maxis at the same time finds his second kill onto Mowgli, onto one of the main fraggers of LALOOSANCE, and shuts him down as well, just putting more pressure onto the shoulders of the last three defenders.
Yeah. Homeless with the advantage here. They do have the potential to take it, but with only 40 seconds left to go, they need to start getting this execute properly underway. They haven't invested any of their utility in actually getting that church wall open so far. We are seeing, though, Mexis be far more conservative with his push down blue, not willing to get baited in early on. Foster again with a diffuser above the kitchen hatch, but Mazdamort is in a position to be able to deal with it. Now, as Mexis got that kill onto Slaz, the play is going to start coming down. Mexis actually with a quad kill on the round. He's busted the pistol out, wanting to try and get the final one, but it's going to be Optic to take down Mazdamort, and Homeless win the round, again, because they worked on the right timing, going for the pushes in unison, and not all split apart.
Yeah, and once again, we did see a perfect, a beautiful attack, a flawless attack. It's like, I don't know. When I play rank, can I please have teammates like this who play just consistently good?
No.
I mean, the synergy was truly amazing. I know ours is support. I know Foster is support, but they were all pulling on that one rope together. They were pulling it off together, and they were not losing a single man in the act. Timing perfect, getting the opening frag perfect, droning and drone economy absolutely amazing. I just love to see something like this.
That's a nice little stat that's popped up there. Skipped leg day. Master and Jim had 100% defensive win rate so far this season until LALOOSANCE lost it in round number 4. Do you skip leg day?
No. I think this is a lesson you should take away for your life.
Yeah.
Never skip leg day, otherwise you're going to lose gym and bedroom. But you know, do you miss leg day?
I don't go to the gym, so I miss every day.
You know, I could say something like, yeah, you miss every shot you don't take, but not sure if that applies for gym as well.
A metaphorical shot. Let's go with that.
Sure. Anyways, we are starting into the last round of defense for LALOOSANCE and the last round of attack for Homeless. So far looking really good for Homeless. Let's see if LALOOSANCE is able to tie it before we go into the round swap, or Homeless is able to further push their lead.
Yeah. It's looking likely, given the fact that they were able to be in a very strong position. They did actually lose this round due to MFC's late rotate and perfectly placed C4, but I don't think Homeless are going to fall for it again. The 2 rounds that they've lost, one was that, but the other was the one when they attacked downstairs, and they made a lot of mistakes, and we just saw them rectify all of those mistakes, and I think we might see them do the same again. We're seeing Nexus wanting to get a little bit of this downstairs control. They're going to actually use that to get the wall opened on up, and as them are unable to go for the bandit trick, and again, very, very swiftly, they have the breach open. Now it's just making sure that they hold onto that lounge control in some way, shape, or form, so they don't get caught out by a late C4 again.
Construction outside wall was not reinforced, something the attackers can play with as soon as they want. Not sure if that was a mistake or the reinforcements were just planned to be on other spots, but of course, construction being so close to the actual bomb spot, not reinforced, could be something the attackers can really play with if they find out. For the moment, logistics will be the first entrance point into construction, pushing that bandit back to side, putting the pressure onto side there as well. The bandit batteries will go onto the breach to construction as well. Of course, the only breach which is now valuable to be protected by them. At the same time, we don't see anyone outside of main breach, so the defenders could still roam there, rotate around as much as they need, and no punishment will happen there. Not sure if that was supposed to happen or it's a little bit of a miscommunication, but I would say a little bit of a missed chance, because you give a lot of freedom away to the defenders and make it possible also by shooting your own drones, of course.
Flank drone's gone down, and now that's already a precursor to someone dying for a flank up those main stairs. Ours actually taking a little bit of damage from the electrified wall, as Optic is going to be down. I believe that was from Majestic's inside of Garage. A very nice pixel angle through the server rack, able to down the Hibana, who's now going to be going back up onto her position there. Ours should be able to get the wall open as... Oh no! The frag nade! Ryber! It missed! Homeless throwing away chances, but Foster is going to pull it back just a little bit as we're going to take down the smoke. Mowgli is going to get one in trade to Mexus taking down Majestics, and the kills going back and forth. It's now MFC in a 1 versus 2. Ryber and Foster left alive. Ryber taking a lot of damage, and it's actually going to be Ryber to then walk on in immediately afterwards, not afraid of the repeat, to win that one out. I have no idea what happened there.
I can explain simple and briefly. Ryba made a mess. Ryba clean up.
I mean,
easy as that.
Yeah. I don't know how did Foster get into Garage though? Did he just come in through the breach and jump in through the Garage window?
Not too sure, honestly. I was really focused on the whole action going on everywhere. Great collapse by the attack, of course. Little minus point from our 10 point score for the team kill. That is not supposed to happen. And honestly, not sure how the attackers could win that round, especially with the thermite charge being destroyed by the grenade and them not having enough time to replace that. And of course, thermite dying, but let's get it out of here. They still pull it off.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Somehow they were able to make that work. And now it's going to be LALOOSANCE going on to the attack. We did see LALOOSANCE attacking Oregon, get a 4-2 advantage, and they were able to hold it out through the rounds on their defense. Now, we might see the same happen again. Homeless moving on to the defenses now. They just need to string together 3 of them through the next 6 rounds to be able to take this victory. But LALOOSANCE, who knows? Their attacks, again, on Oregon were really strong, and I wouldn't be overly surprised if we saw this actually find its way to overtime.
Well, absolutely. I mean, after what I've seen today, I am not surprised by anything. I mean, I just want to summarize the first match, 7-0, and then max overtime. Something that doesn't go normally well together, but we're CCS, we're ready for upsets. We want to see upsets, we want to prove our casters wrong. Other than that, everything is all possible.
Bomb located by attackers.
Again, good time being made by LALOOSANCE, who, Mowgli is already walking down the main stairs. He's going to try and deal with a goo mine. He punches it out, so no shots are heard. He might be able to catch someone trying to rotate between the sites earlier on, and if he gets Hours here, that would be so huge, but it looks like Hours isn't going to extend that far. Actually, he is, and Mowgli gets the kill. That's the Maestro dead, and he deals a lot of damage onto Ryder, but loses the gunfight. Jeez.
That was really close, otherwise he would have gotten a 2k. Luckily it was only a trade, but getting rid of Maestro is a big advantage. Also, of course, getting rid of one man on the B bomb side on Arsenal definitely helps them. Ryba has to fall back as the Memorial Hatch will be open. He will actually be rotating that far away so he can help out in blue, which leaves Bar unoccupied. If the attackers can find that out and get the breach in there, they definitely have a nice time in there. Ryba tries to get rid of all the claimers set up in garage. The roam will come up, but Majestics is aware of that. He did hear these impact nades going and blowing up. So nice cover there from the attacker's side. And 1 minute 20, still a lot of time to work with, but they do also have to work with it. Flashbangs coming into the bomb side. Church is the next target, as we can see. Hibana just getting ready to push in, just some goo mines in her way. Thermite gets ready, of course, to breach in as well. And if they can do that, and if they can pull the breach off, this is a really good looking round for LALOOSANCE.
Alright, Thermite's going to be going for that breach as you speak. Ryder still ready to take the challenge despite only being on 25 points of health. Foster is inside of armoring and he's trying to hold that down all by himself on the smoke. He's going to successfully get the kill onto Mazdamot and pull us now into a 3 versus 3. Optic inside of blue is going to be the key player here as Ryder falls to Majestics. Optic, he's got to try and deny this for as long as possible. He's able to land the headshot to MFZ and the Diffuser is still trying to work its way in. Optic is actually going to down Majestics, the man with the Diffuser, as Foster has managed to sneak in around the backlines. The ping's coming through and he lands the shot. Homeless winning the round. Whew.
I mean, what do I mean? I don't know what I mean after that round. 100% a good looking round for the attackers. Advantage was their man count wise. They had the breach open. They had pressure on the defenders, but they just exposed themselves to blue, and that is what we talked about earlier. When Homeless was attacking, you do need blue covered. Otherwise, the defenders can, without any problem, roam around there, peek you both on the breach in Church and also on the Memorial Hatch or Memorial itself. And you want to shut that down. You want somebody at least to be there, at least to refrag or whatever. But there was no one, and that costed them the round because Goya went mental.
Yeah, I mean, to feed off of that, let's say, for example, that Foster never left blue. He stayed on those blue stairs. So Optic, when he tries to move towards the rotate, he then gets killed by... it wouldn't be Foster who was in blue, Majestic's in blue. If Majestic was still in blue and he kills Optic when he's trying to go for that rotate, we see the smoke is too busy dealing with Mazdamot by Kitchen Hatch, and so Ryder gets taken down by Black Box as well, and now there's 3 players left alive, 3 players left alive who are able to try and go for this plant behind the church bar, and the smoke is now not in a position where they can successfully deal with that, but because Optic was able to get those 2 kills, it just completely tore the round apart, and the execute just crumbled in front of LALOOSANCE's eyes.
Absolutely, and interesting to see the difference of Homeless attacking and LALOOSANCE attacking that bomb spot, and how different you can do that, but also how, you know, sorry to say, but how many mistakes you can make. Anyways, we're heading into our next bomb site, gym bedroom, if I'm not mistaken, and we do see quite a heavy Eastern extended hold. Nothing too crazy, but it's definitely interesting that we see Optic with a Vulcan shield on top of brown stairs. Peeking into Mowgli here. Let's see who will win the gunfight. For the moment, Optic takes a bit of damage but remains alive. And that is a massive factor because therefore, with that shield and also someone in in cash, sorry, they can hold that control on the eastern side of the map for much longer.
Yeah. This Maestro cam as well is going to do a good job because Barna's using all of her pellets just to get that outside wall. Ash is having to use her breaching round to get rid of it because if she was to try and walk up, or the Sledge was to try and walk up and destroy it with his hammer, more than likely would get killed by one of the players inside of Catch. But it's going to be Mastermort to kill one of the players inside of Catch. It's going to be Vexus going down. And now, gradually, this control is starting to fall apart. Foster falling back, but there is still Optic over by those red stairs, who can delay things still a little longer.
Mowgli able to push in quite soon. First flashbang going in. Construction player down. Foster down. Player on Browns are taken out as well. Mowgli is going crazy, but be aware there's one more. But Mowgli is aware. That's his triple kill. It's up to Maester. It's up to ours. He is sitting in bathroom. His ADS is shot as well. He has nothing left to cover himself. Elda in hand. He needs to clutch, but Mowgli with a 4K flawless round. What?
I mean, yeah. When you're attacking downstairs, you need to have 4 pushes, 2, 3, 4 pushes going on to be able to make it work. When you're attacking gym bedroom, you just need someone on Ash to walk through 4 players. You know? Just delete them from the server and, well, carry on with your day and get into the next round.
So there's a video out there. I'm not sure if you know that. It's a hot knife going through butter. That is what we've just seen.
Yeah.
Mowgli was sometimes even unaware where the defenders were, but he just flicked on them as bad as I can say, or not as bad, but like as nasty as I can say. And, you know, like the only thing missing for me would be like a sit in chat.
a GN.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was putting them on the leash. I'm not sure. Is it allowed, Daniel?
There's probably some things I could say that would get me taken off the stream, so I'm just gonna say, yeah, that's allowed. We're gonna move on. But LALOOSANCE though, that one round, that one just perfect play coming through from Mowgli there, isn't gonna be enough to carry them through the rest of this. Mowgli isn't going to be able to get a 4K in each of the next 4 rounds to be able to give LALOOSANCE just the complete turnaround they need. I mean, he might, but it's highly unlikely that it's going to be the case, and it's going to require a much more cohesive effort, again, coming through from LALOOSANCE to be able to secure this.
Yeah, indeed. And with the Kate, it's a nice different approach to the default breach setup we can see with Bandit. Definitely we have to see how this will play out, because of course Thatcher still, depending on where the gadgets, where the electroclaws are positioned, can get rid of them. But of course we also know the Kid can pick them back up, so you maybe want to have one person to go in from down below, get some more pressure in. We don't have an IQ right now, so we don't have that safety. But yeah, let's see how the attackers are going to approach this. LALOOSANCE definitely in need to show us what they have prepared, because they won the first map. Homeless might be taking the second map, but they do need to pull off that last 2 rounds on defense for them.
For the time being, though, we're not seeing LALOOSANCE go for this typical external breach. They are just wanting to go for this cache wall, this cache construction wall, and they almost left that too late to get the thermite down. It was almost destroyed by the electrical, but a second EMP going off is going to protect from getting destroyed, and it means they're going to have this wall open and a line of attack on into the site. Optic is going to be hiding behind the bomb, and Vexus is actually playing downstairs, as is Foster. Foster only has impact nades, so not quite the potency of a C4, but it can definitely make it work if you throw 2 in quick succession. Hibana is also down here over by the pool table, probably attempting to deny someone from being able to go for this play, but she's not aware of Foster, who just lines up the easy one-tap. And that is that downstairs presence for LALOOSANCE gone, as they're trying to now get open the CCTV wall.
I mean, the big advantage for Homeless would be, for LALOOSANCE would be, they know 2 players are off site. Let's just put everything on site, throw everything in, players, utility, everything, and work with it, and then hope that we will come out on top. But they didn't. They're now trying, you know, play it smooth, drone, get the information, but at the same time, the defenders, which are currently on drone, might be getting into position. Majestic, though, at the same time I speak, finds Max's. Mowgli finds his way into the bomb spot. Mastermord able to finish off Optic. Mowgli with a beautiful shot onto Ryba. Foster crawls up the red stairs, hours from up on top of Garage. Rafters finds one, will be refilled from Majestic, though. It's all up to Foster. He finds one. Will he be able to find two more? The diffuser is not going down for the very moment. Cover is there, and important to say, as you mentioned, only impacts are there to work with. Majestic will shut him down. LALOOSANCE might get us into a tie once again, 5-4.
Yeah, and that came down to the fact that Melusi had impacts instead of C4 right at the end. If everything else had happened the same, but Melusi had C4, there's a decent chance, there were holes opened up in the wall to be able to throw a C4 over the top and kill the thermite where he's going for the plant. But, again, what happened? Mowgli just walked in. I don't know how he keeps doing this. He only got one kill there, but he was still able to just walk in. The rest of his team followed suit, and the entire hold evaporated.
And I'm not sure if there was a Maester cam up and running to spot that push into the bomb side, or if they were able to clear that out. But as you mentioned, something would have been needed there to at least get notified for the push. I don't know.
They did have the Kaid in Garage who wasn't holding the long angle over through towards the door, which I think once that construction breach has been opened, if you have still a cam or eyes to some extent in Garage, that should be your #1 priority. You should just be holding that and at least giving call-outs if people cross.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, what we've seen from Homeless so far seems a little bit of a... I don't know, they seem to run out of their breath. They won so many rounds, especially on attack, of course, but right now it seems like they're stalling themselves. Like, they can do better, and we know they can do better, but I don't know what like, they seem to do like some weird mistakes, especially Melusi not having a C4. That was a major impact in one of the rounds and won the round earlier, and now we don't see it again. I don't know, it seems like a missed chance to me.
The impacts, I find players generally tend to prefer using the impacts. It gives you a little bit more versatility when roaming, and it can allow you to do a bit more in terms of site setup. But in that instance, especially, the site that you're playing, the C4 is just so powerful that for the time being, they're defending downstairs. Doesn't look like anyone's roaming. I do believe Ash actually used one of her breaching rounds just to get rid of the logistics hatch when they have a sledge in play. Yeah. So that's quite a big waste of utility.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially on this bomb side, you have to be careful, because in basement it will come down to your utility and how you cope with the utility of your the defenders. So you do need, especially breaching rounds later on. We have Maestro on the board, and yeah, we don't have Sophia on the board. So the only way you can count that is either by Thatchering it and then shooting it as long as it's open, or using Ash. And Sledge has just been taken out. That would be the third way. Foster takes out Mastermord, so only 2 more options to get rid of the Maester cams. Dirt, though, is now one option for them to go in. The first time we actually do see them come in Dirt, the the kitchen hatch will be open probably as well if there's no one to impact trick as well. Majestics is able to find some shots landed onto the wall, not on the player in Dirt. Foster remains alive with the help of his smoke canisters. He can shut down Dirt, and he also got help from Ours as soon as he would need them to be there.
Yeah, Majestic's in a very dangerous situation right now. Can't sort of extend himself too far forward, but he can't give up this position either, as it will just start to play against him. If he's here, he's occupying 2 of the players, but Vex's, he's been undetected. They were aware of a Vigil roaming, and I think they just assumed he rotated down through Garage. They didn't get clean eyes on him as he left, but Foster's going to peek on around inside of Dirt and get rid of Majestics, and Mexis has actually managed to find his way back onto the site. Slaz is going to lose a lot of his HP, but he's going to get a kill before he dies, and then just 3 quick frags in unison coming out from Homeless, and now that is going to be their 6th round. They're sitting on match point now, Silver.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was the round. They needed to put themselves back up onto it. The pressure is definitely on LALOOSANCE right now. That last round was everything but not LALOOSANCE.
Hmm.
I think they were on a good track, but they completely lost it. Like, no attack has been, in my opinion, what I've seen from them, executed that poorly. I mean, they basically lost the time game already. If you think about when the hatches got open, when the push came down in dirt and the first player died in dirt, then Majestic was all alone in dirt. Two players were facing him. They were not having the angles set up. They were not having multiple angles set up, especially. Nobody was going down blue stairs. It was, I don't know, as you mentioned, Ash was spotting the roamer in the top floor earlier, but then kind of forgot about it. It really seemed messy, and I think they're putting too much pressure on themselves right now. They could have won that if they would like kept a calm mind, but like that, this might fall in the way of Homeless. I mean, let's not forget about it. We are playing right here CCS Season 5 lower bracket. If you don't win
5 seconds left.
the match overall, you're out. There's no sort of net underneath it which will catch you. This is already your net. This is already the lower bracket.
Yeah, nice stat there. Round 9 was the first round on Clubhouse where a defender actually won the opening duel. I think that just kind of goes to show how attacker-sided. Even though LALOOSANCE's attacks haven't been as effective, it's still been quite heavily attacker-sided, especially when Homeless was on the offense. That just this entire map has been, which is pretty atypical of Clubhouse.
Absolutely. I mean, the overall scores today are generally atypical. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get back into it. Match point for Homeless, you pointed out already. Let's see if LALOOSANCE can get back on track. It looks like it. They're already getting master control, getting into construction, putting pressure onto the defenders. They're not wasting time on that. Let's just hope that they can be successful with that.
Yeah, let's hope we don't have a another fragnade incident. I know it was Ryber before, but I mean, Mazdamot's got his own frags in play, and he might missaw it, and Slaz might be meeting an early grave. But I'm interested as to the reasoning as to why they go for this construction breach first. Typically, you see teams want to go for that CCTV cache initially, or the CCTV wall, and then if they want to later on, they'll rotate around and get that cache breach. But LALOOSANCE doing things a little bit differently.
I mean, maybe it's their sort of setup to shake off their opponent, to, you know, mix and match things to come out on top in the end. We don't know, but for the moment, time is ticking away. They are stalling once again in a tag. Of course, you want to drone Mowgli. Of course, you want to have all that intel in place, but at a certain point, it's getting dangerous. And of course, if you only get that cache, that construction breach into cache, which is going to be impact triggerable, you are having a hard time, because what are you going to do? Just run in. Mastermart finds one with his nade. MFC finds the head of Maxis. Beautiful 2 kills there, but still 3 more to go. 45 seconds. They have the time to work with it, but they do need to execute quite soon. More drones coming in, revealing the positions of the defenders. But like said, Ryba still having his smoke canisters up and toss them out. And once again, they're just able to sneak into the bomb spot. Mowgli is inside. How is he allowed to do that? He could get rid of utility. Majestic at the same time shutting down Optic. They do need to be careful. Ash got a little bit too cocky there. Hours finds Mowgli. Slaz refraging onto Ryba. Up to Hours. If they want to win it, they have to win it now. Otherwise, we might potentially go into overtime. 10 seconds. Time is gone as Diffuser is down. And down is also Mastermind, as he has to say goodbye. 31 Pulseman situation. Hours against the rest of the world, and he will not be able to stand that. LALOOSANCE wins the round and just proceeds to live and live and live. Their thirst of living is incredible.
Literally hanging on by a fingernail right now is LALOOSANCE, as I think Homeless, they're unable to go back downstairs into the basement, so they're going to be going to gym and bedroom. We've seen mixed result. I think, no, we just saw Mowgli walk in and get a 4K, which isn't a consistent way to win a round, but it might happen again. So I really don't know what to expect here. LALOOSANCE, fighting for it. If they're able to force this to overtime and then win in overtime, that'll be it. It'll be a 2-0, and Homeless will be eliminated from CCS. And Homeless, well, obviously they don't want that. And this round could be the point at which it is all decided.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, we could see Mowgli just walking through the map again. I think that is what all LALOOSANCE fans out there would love to see. On the other side, Homeless needs the second map to be theirs. Otherwise, they have to say goodbye. So I think all the Homeless fans out there are cheering and rooting as much as they can to support their team to win that last round and not go into overtime. Because I think if you go into overtime and you're giving LALOOSANCE the chance once again to start an attack, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might not go well for Homeless.
Yeah, it will be LALOOSANCE attacking first in overtime, and I mean, it's been basically almost as even as it can be either way, right down the middle for all of these sides. It's going to be Majestics and Mexes to get into a little bit of an early fight. Mexes coming out worse for wear, but that Thatcher being on low HP is worrying, because your Thatcher is one of your most important operators you want to keep alive for as long as possible.
The Mute Jammer there will be not working anymore because of the Thatcher EMP grenade, so the breach should be opened successfully without any problem. Mowgli got Garage?
Yeah, he just walks in and takes Garage really early on. It's insane.
I mean, the bomb site is gym bedroom. I understand that Garage is not that important, but I'm not even sure if the defenders know 100%. They're heavily extending to the eastern side of the map. And once again, we have CC breach open. We have garage control. So a lot for the attackers to work with. And now, of course, the droning phase a little bit starts again. If they find these frags, and they did do that already, they might have a really big problem in the defense.
Yeah, MFC has already got that outside breach open and is starting to apply a little bit of pressure onto Optic over by the top of red stairs. Slaz wanting to open up this jacuzzi breach is going to need the EMP from Majestics to go through, but it's going to be Masterhawk from below the perfectly positioned nade, going to take down Mexes. Mowgli walking on in is going to get caught out by Ours, as that C4 is going to go out, but it's not going to catch anything. It's going to be Ours with the double to take down MFC. And Foster just swings around, the shotgun blast coming on out, and now it's looking like Homeless are going to be able to take this here, as it's Slaz left in a 1 versus 4. Hours managing to hit that final headshot, and Homeless winning in round number 12. They've successfully taken Clubhouse and will be taking us now all the way to Consular.
All the way to the third map. These teams are once again not gifting anything away, but that is what we love to see. We love to see these teams fighting for it. I think that is what the fans out there love, what we casters love. It's just amazing to see over and over. I have no idea. I was really surprised with what we've seen skill wise so far, and I think I'm going to be really surprised what we are going to see operator ban wise. What I would expect, something probably like a Thatcher, maybe even a Blackbeard. I mean, we do see a lot of window play here, so that definitely would make sense. Otherwise, a Valkyrie would make sense, or a Mira. We did say that most operators are really down to the team already in the past, but let's see what we're actually going to see. LALOOSANCE is going to start banning first, and they will ban the Thatcher. I think Thatcher for most teams is kind of like a no-brainer ban, because of course Thatcher has the advantage of shutting down utility for a moment, so you can toss in some other stuff. Next attacker ban coming in is Ace. Something I didn't expect it. I would rather have thought maybe a Blackbeard or a a Maverick, I'm sorry. But Ace, sure, here we go. Next ban coming in from Homeless, and their first defender ban will be the Valkyrie. I talked about it. And yeah, last but not least, LALOOSANCE is going to ban. Let's see what they're going to present for us.
I mean, it's quite interesting. Homeless banned out Ace on all 3 of the maps so far. They just really do not like Ace for some reason.
The thing is, I mean, I understand why Ace is strong. Last ban, by the way, is going to be Maestro to finish off the bans. But Ace is in between, of course, Hibana and Thermite, right? Thermite has his advantages on really one side. You know, he can open 2 walls completely. Hibana being the queen of hatches, having that advantage that she can open 3 hatches. Meanwhile, Ace is somewhere in between, but it's like, I don't know. It's like a fishy ban because you can ban Hibana, you can ban Thermite, but you just, you know, tend to go for the ban right in the middle.
Yeah. I suppose that does make sense. Although not seeing a Nomad ban, I did think that we would get a Nomad ban just because this is
Attackers need to
Consulate.
locate and defuse
You
as many
always see a
bombs as
Nomad
they
ban on
can.
Consulate because otherwise people are just going to be so aggressive. It's also going to be a Nova My ban,
located by
another
attackers.
consistent operator ban that we've seen between these two. Not going to take place, and there are some interesting interactions you can have between Wamai and that Nomad. For example, you can throw a magnet outside the projector window, that sort of A-bomb site window upstairs, and then when they go to fire at that air jab right at the start of the round, it can get captured, and that's a wasted air jab. It can delay and allow you to go for early jump outs if you're prepared and if you're, well, brave enough to go for them.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is an aggressive map for attackers
Attackers are
if you
heading
think
out to
about
defuse the
how
bomb.
well you can play off the windows, and therefore, of course, having runouts is nothing too crazy, and we are presented with that right in the first seconds. So yeah, you want to shut down runouts, so I think that is also why we're not seeing Nomad banned. I think both teams rather want to have that safety over having that risk, in my opinion.
Optic looking like he's already wanting to get that wall open. We aren't seeing any breach now coming through from LALOOSANCE, so going to be able to get that opened up nice and early, but it's going to be Mowgli to open up the killing nice and early, as he's actually going to get a double. The Nomad and the Ash eliminated Foster and Nexus out of here already, and that's a huge leg up, especially with a follow-up kill onto ours. And now it's a 2 versus 5, and we've not even been on Consulate for a minute.
Hold up. I've written something down, and 3 people are dead?
Yeah. Mowgli just walked at people again, and they all died.
Well, fair enough. MFC finds Raiba's head, and it will all be over with MFC just finishing it off. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mowgli and MFC just played that together against 5 people.
Yep. I mean, I think there were 2 repelling into admin at the same time on the same window, and Mowgli just peeked and got both of them, and then that was basically it. There wasn't really much that Homeless could do to try and bring it back after that point, and then going for the peek onto the player repelling over by the paper window, just being able to somehow land that headshot. I didn't even see the player he was shooting at. Someone just died, and it said Mowgli next to their name. And okay. LALOOSANCE, you get that round.
Well, I mean, it's important because technically what we're witnessing on this map, it's one of the more balanced maps. Sometimes it swings a little bit in the attacker side, sometimes a little bit in the defender side, but overall it's more or less at least not heavily defender side. Let me put that out, maybe, to be more, you know, not straightforward with my argument. But what I wanted to say is winning basement, quite a hard to defend bomb site, just because piano can be fully open up, bathroom can be fully opened up vertically by a sledge, by a bug, so you definitely are pressured really heavily. Breach can be opened up quite easily as well. It's not that safe to play as, for example, CCTV cache on Clubhouse, so you definitely are pressured much more. They need to roll more, therefore you are risking to die early on much more, and winning it off right out in front, making that big statement of saying like, well, we lost the last map, but honestly, we're not going on from losing from here on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I just have no words because it's really important to win that first round, especially on defense. But we are heading right into the second round, and let's see what we have prepared this time.
Yeah, we were saying sort of whoever's the most aggressive, and that's generally going to be the attacker, but Mowgli, I just decided to be even more aggressive as a defender, and I think that's it's not going to come down to defense or, you know, if you're defending or you're attacking or which site you're on. It's going to come down to, can you hit your shots? How willing are you to take those fights? And Mowgli right now, he is more than willing to take any fight that could come his way. Ours is going to be droning up to try and find out where Mowgli's sitting. You actually can't jump out of that paper window, so Ours is actually safe to rappel down if he wanted to, but it's going to be Optic to actually land the frag onto Mowgli. Nice little crossfire set up as we see Ryber attempting to hold the flank from inside of Visa.
Opening frag falling in favor of Team Homeless. Maybe this is what they need now to win that second round. And yeah, the defense lost one of their players next to admin, so the attack can set up from there on. And that is basically what we're seeing. Foster takes out Majestics, one more kill for Homeless. Legit pulling them more and more in a favorable position. What they need, I mean, they want to win this round, they want to win this match. Hibana pellets going off onto the main bridge into meeting, pressuring Slaz even more. He has to drop the hatch. I think the X-Cars have been caught by an impact nade, but regardless, the bridge will open probably now either way, if nothing will stop them. And yes, so it will be. There we go. Maxes also find the frag onto Mastermort, making it even more possible for Homeless to win flawlessly. Foster finds one. Refrag is there from MFC, but Our stops it and anywhere close there. Homeless takes the next map and the next round, I'm sorry, almost flawlessly.
Yeah. And just swinging back immediately the other way, trying to defend upstairs, losing Mowgli very early on. It's just going to put you at a disadvantage. And they also didn't decide to invest in sort of strongly holding on to that lobby area and attempting to go for a C4 when the plant was going to go down. Mazdamot still had a C4 in pocket at the end of that round, and Slaz with the shotgun, if they had any form of intel inside of the site as to where the plant was going down, could definitely have done something about it. But instead, they tried to challenge directly and lost their lives for it. But they are going to go and give it another chance, as they aren't going to be switching up and going to a tertiary site just yet.
A CO meeting actually being preferred by a lot of teams, especially over, of course, the main lobby bomb side or the workshop bomb side and Telos bomb side. But of course, you do have the downside of all these windows of admin, for example. If you fall in admin, you open up a huge chunk of the map for the attackers to work with, because from there on they can work throughout long desk into meeting. And yeah, basically that is what the attackers are normally trying to do. Either you're heavily playing off windows and repel a lot, then of course you're vulnerable to runouts, and the other option is just to go for admin or, you know, be creative. Normally you don't see teams being creative. We do see Contra played more linear actually right now than ever before, even though we have a lot of new operators. But it's the fact of how the map is constructed. You pointed out earlier, it's quite a small map. If you think about it, you can be from A to B quite fast. The line of sights are quite long, but on the same time you can hold a chunk of the map without actually being in the building by just playing off the window or lying somewhere, and yeah, playing huge chunks of the map without actually controlling them, literally.
Yeah. And that rappel game is always going to be incredibly strong because of it. Ryber, Mazdamot just went on up, got rid of the drone, and got out of there. But it's going to be Mexus to get Slaz out of there. There's smoke gone early on, and that's going to be huge, because that means no more toxic babes available to sort of delay this push later on. It's going to give Homeless a much better chance of being able to have a strong impact in this round and potentially going to get another round win here. Ryber going to put another drone in precisely the same place as the first.
Mowgli still absolutely there for the roam game, of course. Could be a huge impact for the attackers to deal with, but they actually don't really deal with it. Optic and Foster find one. Mastermort refragging onto Foster, but Ryber refragging right after onto Mastermort. It's only Majestic alive. He finds one down to the diffuser, but Ryber is just there to clean it off right after. Is there a challenge going on? Was I not notified that there's a speed challenge going on?
I mean, yeah, everyone's trying to speedrun these rounds, but I mean, I like the way that Homeless is taking that top floor. So they have Ryber just posted up inside of Visa the entire round. He has long lines of sights. He's able to just deny any flank that can come through and prevent any C4s that might get thrown up. Also, perfectly protecting this admin take that they want to go for. Once they get inside of admin, they very quickly waterfall all the way through and gain that control as a unit, with, again, Riva still holding down below, and then at that moment in time, it's just a matter of appropriately using your utility and getting the kills that you need. And it's just textbook way to take it. 2 very convincing wins. I'm not sure what Foster was doing rappelling upside down from the spiral stairs skylight, but I guess he had to do something.
Well, I mean, sometimes all you need to do is just hang up a little bit with your friends.
Oh, that one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know me. I'm there for the dad jokes. The coolest dad jokes.
I know.
10 seconds.
Anyways, basement. Once again, we did see basement already. I mean, I wouldn't say we did see basement. We'd rather saw Mowgli and MFC play. Full stop. I'm really looking forward if we're going to see that as well. Or now, maybe Homeless is able to actually play this bomb side and attack it.
Yeah, hopefully they'll be able to get a little bit more done, especially as they're probably going to be far more aware of the expected aggression coming through from LALOOSANCE. Foster going to be positioning one of those air jabs. Majestics might have been able to shoot it out already, but unsure about that. Riva is going to be attempting to take that Visa control, but Mazdamort is here. He sees him and he's actually going to get the headshot. So that's going to be the sedge down, and that's that pivotal flank position loss. It makes everything else that LALOOSANCE, that Homeless even are trying to do that much more difficult. Mazdamort's going to follow up with the kill onto Foster, so no more air jabs available either. So all of this flank watch that they had set up and that everything rests on is now gone, and they need to switch up their entire strategy.
Maxis needs to find his way now into Visa. At least that's what he's trying to do. At the same time, we do see Optic opening up the main breach with 2 of his exothermic charges. Nothing intervening there, so he should be successful with that without any problem. At the same time, we still see the roam game in action. Hatches are open as soon as they need to fall back, but they're not giving up on the map, and especially Masterboard has been deadly already. Let's see if Maxis is able to find him and catch him, or if he will be able to remain alive. So far, a lot of time wasted. The main breach is open, yes, but they didn't clear the map throughout thoroughly, so they definitely have to invest in that as well right now. And yeah, I don't know. Right now, it looks really good for the attackers, but if that flank comes in and the trap just snaps together, it might be over already.
A bomb has been located.
And then at the same time, LALOOSANCE, all they need to do is just play this safe, play this smart, but it's going to be Mexis to get the kill onto Mowgli, who is still trying to remain aggressive on those yellow stairs. That now means that top floor and middle floor control is handed over to the attackers, as we see 2 of them outside of the breach. That's going to be Optic and Ours trying to get a line of sight on in. MFC with a line of sight of his own, created by Nexus, is going to be able to collect that kill. Kills going back and forth very quickly. Optic somehow managing to get together a double as he's now in a 1 versus 2. Slaz peeking around from behind the white van, and LALOOSANCE now able to take round number 4, bringing us back into a 2-2 with tied scorelines.
Well, yes, but I have questions.
Don't we all?
I mean, I want to ask a question. Mowgli is an insane player. He proved that to us. He proved that to us already today. Sometimes, though, I am not 100% sure what he's doing. I think I understand. He tries to be aggressive. He wants to remain aggressive. He does not want the opposite team to find map control with ease, but rushing up yellow stairs, not knowing if there is an Ash walking out or anyone, and it's quite likely that somebody is going to check top floor, running into the gun. I don't know, it could have turned out very bad for him and his team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cam by the front desk was up, so they might have had some info on what Nexus was doing, but then at that point, you don't really need to be getting aggressive. There are lots of cheeky angles you can hold on the yellow stairs, where you can be quite safe and have the advantage when the gunfight does start, but instead trying to push on up and catch him out
10 seconds to go.
didn't work out for him, and could have potentially been very
5
costly.
seconds left
Unfortunately,
before
everyone else on LALOOSANCE was able to step up and complete their role, but
Attackers
now they're
objective
going to
is
be going
locate a
back
bomb and
up to this
defuse it.
top floor where they have lost it twice.
Absolutely, and so far the level of aggression has been really high. Not sure if this is able to continue, because sooner or later somebody will get punished for being aggressive. I mean, this is Consulate, a map, like I said, I think 100 times already, where you can be creative, you can play off windows, you can hold long angles, but you can also be punished throughout long angles, and Mowgli punished Ryba, repelling on that meeting window with a beautiful line of sight from the top of front desk, from the top of... Well, okay, the refrag is right there. Maxis finds the frag onto Majestic, takes out Wamai, so no more magnets being chucked out onto the map. Nice trade there. Within 1 minute, so much aggression. Like I said, this is a map you play this off the window.
Yeah, and it's looking like potentially Homeless trying to get aggressive already on these windows. No, they're going to back off for the time being, but Optic with the diffuser is repelling right there. It's looking like if they can move Mowgli out of his position, they want to be going for this execute pretty early on. They also will need to deal with the Smoke who's sitting on yellow stairs, as that Slazin can get a great angle. Nexus is actually going to get kill onto MFC as he repels on into the connector, and just all the kills going the way of Homeless. Now it's 4 versus 1. Mastermort will try and find this planter as it's going down. He's coming up the yellow stairs. He gets one. The shot's going out in all directions, but he gets caught out by Mexes, and that's going to be Homeless now winning round number 5. And it looks like we might be entering a little bit of a cycle.
Well, yes and no. It's the first time we actually did see that heavy window gameplay, and I love to see that. But as you mentioned, the bomb sites are going to repeat and repeat and repeat. I don't know. The thing is, this map tends people, it really pushes people to make mistakes. For example, Sledge normally would say upside down repelling is a really strong position. You can play there quite safely. You can play there for a long time. You only need to be afraid of runouts. But Ryba was punished for not even hanging there 10 seconds from Mowgli.
Yeah.
But then on top of Yellow Stairs, the next punishment was there for being exposed too heavily. It's a map where there's a lot of line of sights if you play where you're not supposed to play, which can really be deadly.
Yeah. I mean, I hit the nail on the head right there. I'm just looking at the setup now coming through from LALOOSANCE. They've decided that they don't want to go back upstairs again, considering that they've already lost it 3 times now, and they're instead going to go to this middle floor lobby and piano. And this, again, can be quite a difficult one because it relies more often than not on being able to hold this upstairs projector area to at least some successful extent to just be able to deny a quick push on into the lobby, and again just to be able to fall back and potentially kill anyone if they're trying to go for a quick plant in a piano. And the fact that we've not seen LALOOSANCE be successful defending top floor in really any regard is quite worrying.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the last map we're going to see. There will be no other map coming up next. This is the map which is the decider. You could have banned it, you didn't, so you have to play it. There's nothing else around it. There's nothing else you can do about it. So you better be prepared. And so far, I did see a lot of aggression, but I didn't see something where I would be like, yeah, they are super prepared. It's rather like default stuff. They're playing it sometimes better, sometimes not so good. But so far, I really want to see that, you know, that extra spicy explosion.
Yeah. MFC wanted to get aggressive there, but it's going to be ours to get the first kill, and that's going to be Mowgli down. Mastermort trades out Foster, so it's still a 4 versus 4. But this is still favoring the attackers, I'd say, because they're getting this control slowly but surely, forcing the players on the top floor back. And if the attackers get full top floor control, it's going to make that execute, a lot easier.
1 minute 30 seconds. The attackers are finding their way through the building. What you have to be aware of is the bomb site is not top floor, so they do need to invest, yes, but they do need to be aware of timing. Ours at the same time finds the head of Mastermart, takes out Melusi on the act of clearing throughout the map. MFC has to roam around to the basement now and is potentially able to roam later on. Ours takes a massive amount of damage. He definitely has to be aware now because he's super low in HP, and MFC, like I said, is still on the flank. He still is a big threat for the attackers and could deal a massive amount of damage within the next couple of seconds if they're not aware, and they do not seem to be 100% aware of that flank. But let's see, the Nomad charge will actually be able to save Ryba's life for the moment. Perfectly placed Nomad charge. MFC has to run away one more time and walk throughout the whole map.
Majestic's also losing a lot of HP as he's playing close to his piano area, but he's going to be the one to down and then finish off Optic. But the inside of piano, it's Nexus. He's going to get the kill onto Majestic, and MFC now taking up a similar position. Needs to try and do something, but it's going to be Slaz to get the first, of which the shots coming through from MFC, I almost said he whiffed, but he's not losing that fight there. He's going to collect a double kill to give LALOOSANCE a 3-3 split now at the end of the first half.
Can I point out how aggressive this map is played? Not in the ordinary way of saying, yeah, they're just fragging a lot, but no diffuser has been planted successful so far. Every round has been decided by pure kills. If we look on other maps, this is really uncommon, but for Consulate, this is really common, but it still surprises me because most of the time the round ended with still more than enough time on the clock, but they don't care, right? They want to go for gunfights no matter if attack or defense, and it works out mostly in their favor if they continue to be aggressive. But it leaves us with so much time spare, which they could have used to, for example, properly drone, get the crossfire set up, get the push set up, collapse all together, get the communication set up, whatever. But they were not doing that, and I mean, I shouldn't be impressed, but I am impressed.
Oh, well, I'm impressed that Homeless, their very first sight is going to be one that we didn't see from LALOOSANCE. It's going to be that servers and tellers area, and they're going to be bringing out the mirror as well. Going to be going for a little bit of an admin hold. It gives you great lines of sight, and they've got a lot of C4s available. They've got 3 C4s out to be used, and Foster's also got 2 impacts in his pocket. This is going to be a great opportunity for Homeless to really sort of create a bit of a divide here, to be able to stand out much more than the way that we saw LALOOSANCE, who could only really win the lower bomb sites by being able to go to a completely different one and still be successful. That'd be a very good start for Homeless.
Against all odds. So far, Playday number 4, 31 of 49 rounds have been won in favor of the attackers. Especially maps which are heavily defender-sided. Oregon, Villa, and still this is a fact, is already impressive for this Playday.
I mean, who said Siege was defender-sided? What?
Well, true. Majestic pre-firing on top of these service stairs, also taking a lot of damage as the hatch above him is open. It looks like the attackers are only going for a basement take, but they do need to be aware, of course, of first mirror windows line up to fight against them, and also, of course, defenders on top of them or roaming. But luckily they have Nomad in play. Ryba, though, will be able to open up against Mowgli. It shuts down one of the main fraggers of LALOOSANCE, taking out the wind of their sails.
There's some very nice angles you can hold from deep inside of the server that's very difficult for people trying to push you to challenge, and I think that's one of the partly how Mowgli went down. I don't think he'd lose in a wide open straight up gunfight against the UMP, but Ryba being successful there, and this is going to really take the bite out of LALOOSANCE's attack. They're going to have to slow down and clear everything out, but that's going to do a little bit more to add a bit of wind into their sails as Mazdamort gets the kill onto Foster, one of the key roamers who was up above and really slowing down this LALOOSANCE push. Optic just waiting for the sledge to come on through, misses a couple of important shots though, so Mazdamort's going to escape with his life and he's going to be throwing a frag nade down and is going to get Optic perfectly. That's going to be a double in the round for Mazdamort as now this execute switched up. It was going to be on the downstairs, but now they're going to be taking that middle floor as MFC takes down Nexus. The peak on the spiral stairs, Mazdamort with his third in the round, and now it's left up to Ryber and Mazdamort. That SMG-11, it just works.
Mazdamort 4 key with the SMG-11 in hand. People out there think this gun is weak. I don't agree at all. Especially having that up in your pocket next to your main gun. Just, I don't know what to say. Sledge and especially Mazdamort with the SMG showed that LALOOSANCE is not giving up for the moment, and they just won, of course, against the bomb site, which you normally expect the attackers to win, but it's a win. They are once again up one round. They're once again in the driver's seat. They are now indicating how fast or how slow we're going throughout this map. They're the attackers. You pointed out earlier once already that the attackers are usually indicating on this map how aggressive it will turn out. We do have a nomad, so the runouts will be quite limited, but they will come eventually. I can promise you that.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see some runouts, some attempts by LALOOSANCE. Most of them were well dealt with by Homeless. No one was going for anything too crazy. I think we did see Mowgli in the very first round try and go for a spawn peek from the bench's windows, but beyond that, it was pretty sensible and, well, pretty tame compared to what we've seen before. But again, Homeless wanting to bring out an atypical site, not going to the traditionally stronger top or bottom floors, and instead going to be going to piano and lobby to try and secure their first offensive round.
Not sure what exactly is the background of them bringing up these, let's say, interesting bomb sites, but they of course are prepared for today. Let's see how they're going to hold it this time. It looks like the same top floor hold. Actually, if you look about it, so far at least, more or less, we of course do not have the mirror, but we have a heavy top floor setup. So, but yeah, what I want to say is we do have a heavy top floor setup, and the question is going to be, will LALOOSANCE be able to take care of that? Will they be able to flush it out completely, or will Homeless be alive for most of the time? Because as long as they can hold the top floor, they are good to go. But of course, as soon as top floor falls with the vertical gameplay, it's almost impossible to play off the actual bomb sites.
Yeah. LALOOSANCE being much slower with their initial takes than Homeless were. They're taking a bit more time and actually investing a bit more into these CEO windows for the site that it is. As Mowgli, again, you can just see, he just wants to go running into a room and try and kill everyone, and well, he's going to start off strong by downing Ryder. He's going to back off before he's able to secure the kill, and Ryder's actually going to drop down. Not one, but two floors, no, only one floor. He's going to be hiding behind the circle desk, but that is going to be very useful to, well, keep your mute alive for the time being, and Merxis is actually going to be able to secure the first kill of this round as he lands the headshot onto Mazdamort.
The map so far feels like a complete back and forth. First frag falling into the hands of Homeless on the actual top floor though, but still the control is there, and the push for the moment has been delayed, has been slowed down, but of course the attackers cannot play with it. They do have to go for the top floor or just blatantly run into a side, which they normally don't want to do. Mowgli has to push in, will be down next to front desk. Refrag is there right after as Slash finds the shot onto Optic. Immediate trade immediately there. Absolutely possible still to win for both teams, but Foster shuts down MFC. Ryber shuts down Slaz. It's all up to Majestic. He does not have diffuser. He first has to get it, but that shouldn't be his main problem because there's 4 guns pointed at him. As soon as he's going to take up the diffuser and walk towards the bomb, he doesn't have that much time anymore left. Let's see if he will be able to pull this off. It is definitely possible, but no, he will not be able. Foster does not allow that.
And again, it's the aggression we saw there. Homeless just willing to take it straight to La Stronger after this little break could really change things up. This break can sometimes give teams the mental reset needed to be able to propel themselves to a victory, or sometimes it will throw a team entirely off their rhythm and it can sort of send them veering the wrong way. And it's going to be, how are these guys able to manage that break and resetting and now getting back into it? Who's going to be able to remain effective?
Yeah, talking about that, staying in your flow as a team is really important. And as you mentioned,
Defenders, protect your bombs
such a
from being
timeout,
used by
I
attackers.
I would 100% say in this situation the timeout was not called on purpose to get a break. It was a technical issue, and we still have something called competitive integrity. We are playing for the match and not to see who is able to, you know, make most out of the game, out of bugs, right? So
Yeah.
competitive integrity is still a really big thing here. We want it to be fair, and so do the teams. So I don't think it was a rehouse called on purpose, so we will not put it out there. But it does mess with you. It does mess with you as an attacker. It does mess with you as an defender. Both sides have both an advantage and also a disadvantage of a rehost. Like, you might be super pumped up, super hyped up. You're really in your top mindset, and then there's rehost. Sure, people can't do anything against it, but that definitely might be knocking you back. Or on the other side, you're really having a bad time. You have 1 second to breathe, and that might be the thing to get you back into the match. You never know, but you also therefore cannot say if a rehost favors one of both teams, because it's never on purpose, and it's also never something which you know which result is going to come out of it.
Yeah. LALOOSANCE taking advantage of admin not really being played, as they're going to be getting aggressive here now and all the way up inside a projector. There is a Jaeger all the way in the back of CEO, and as well as Optic at the top of Yellow. So there is the potential for quite a bit of action to take place on this top floor, as they've actually got some decent rotates to be able to navigate around. MFC is going to get tagged up just a little bit, and Mowgli firing on through into the bathroom, aware of Optic's position, but not quite enough to be able to land any damage onto him.
That is the first minute off the board quite already. Nobody falling just yet. The attackers are marching through the top floor, not finding a heavy gunfight that much already, but Optic is able to shut down the first player, peeking into the connector. Mowgli has to say goodbye. The frag ability is off the board. Mexus takes a bit of damage as he peeks into long desk. His position is also given away by Mastermord's cam. Optic, and he also has to rotate, but Optic will be down just in the act. Let's see if Mexus is able to pick him back up, or he has to rotate away as well. The grenade is cooked. Let's see. MFC will kill him eventually. No frag grenade is needed. It's just the pure gun which shuts Optic down, but the roam of Mexus back to side will happen successfully. At the same time, we do see Sledge doing his job of destroying the whole building, ripping it apart, just to get more line of sights for the attackers in place.
The bomb site is actually all the way in the basement. This is a really good defense coming through from a Homeless. Their defense in depth, lots of layers to this, wasting a fair amount of time on the top floor. Now they're going to fall back. Foster gets one before he's traded up by MFC, but again, this is just delaying things even further. Mazdamor's going to get a frag of his own, as Ryber wanting to push on up the yellow stairs to give MFC a triple kill. It's all left up to Hours, but he's still trying to check through this hatch and the hole in the floor when yellow is where the aggression's coming from. The C4 goes on out as the main breach gets opened up. He's just going to walk on up and take down MFC. He needs to reload the Vector. Only one bullet in the gun, but he's gonna miss the shots onto Slaz, and LALOOSANCE are gonna take round number 9 and break this tie.
And once again, I'm questioning some things which happened. Beautiful defense. Honestly, taking the full map and having success with it, because what could have happened? The attackers could drone it, could see, okay, bomb spot is on basement, in the basement, but they're holding second floor, they're holding first floor heavily, they're wasting a lot of utility up there. Let's just toss everything into the basement, every utility a bit, and we should very likely come out on top. But The attackers didn't. They decided to clear the map thoroughly, and it worked for them eventually. But especially, I think it was Ryba with the SMG pushing up
Attackers need
Yellow
to
Stairs.
locate and defuse
Even if it
bombs.
wasn't needed, time was in their favor. The main bridge was not open to that time. 35 seconds left, and you had the favor of just needing to wait, and you push up. I don't know. We're in a situation where every round you lose could lose you the game. Mistakes shouldn't be a thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what was going on with Homeless there. They just needed to play passive. The defense in depth that I was talking about, the next layer was to just go back to those default positions on site behind White Band, behind Yellow Pillar, and security, and you can hold a really strong position from there.
5 seconds remaining.
But they wanted to challenge and be even more aggressive than they needed to.
Attackers
I mean,
detected.
absolutely. Don't get me
Bomb
wrong. I don't want to, you know, sort of talk negatively about a team. This is criticizing on a very high level. These teams do make a lot of things right, but it's these little things which win or lose you the game.
Yeah.
And this is already the losers bracket. As you mentioned, this is your security net already. There's no place, or there should be no place for mistakes.
Yeah, and well, LALOOSANCE trying to capitalize off of any Homeless mistakes they might come across in this round, as that would give them the match point, and they would be one round away from being able to secure a victory. As Demont just making sure he gets rid of the Visa cam and going to provide a little bit of additional cover as the drones are going on in to scout out Projector, so they can maybe start getting aggressive early on. As they only spot one player in the backside of Projector, they might be able to capitalize off of this if they're smart.
Especially interesting to see that no real utility chunks are placed in the area of main desk and front desk, or long desk, I'm sorry. So quite an easy one there for the attackers to breach into meeting, for example. At the same time, we do see Majestic playing it safely, putting down the nomads where they are needed on the roam, where the potential roam might be coming in. So definitely they are afraid of aggressivity by the defenders. At the same time, Dryby is heavily pressured in the bomb side, and also Flash. Let's see if they can finally get rid of him. The desk will be destroyed right in front of his nose, but he can still play and remain active behind the bomb. For the moment, he will be killed right after I talk. MFC shuts down him. Optic at the same time is able to refrag onto Mowgli with a C4 toss. Mastermord and his teammates do now finally have to make it possible to push into it. They should have all the entrances needed and all the line of sights established, but there's still the defenders pushing back at them. Optic goes crazy and shuts down Majestic on his way down on main stairs. Also, Mastermord has to say goodbye as Foster with the SMG in hand shuts him down as well. MFC will be down on the bomb spot, finished there as well from ours. It's all up to Slaz once again. He has a diffuser, but he's that support boy we were talking about earlier, and he doesn't have a lot to work with. 35 seconds being shot already, and the round is over. Maxis does not give him one more chance, and once again we do see that tie.
Yeah, Optic really important in that round, being the pulse downstairs. So throwing the C4 up successfully and getting the kill is important. It's going to give you an advantage, or at least even out the kill count as it did in that situation. And then because it was a pulse, you have to clear him out. You can't leave a pulse downstairs, because almost the entirety of the floor, I think the only really safe spot to plant is if you get all the way into CEO and go up on the desk. That's really the only safe spot from a pulse. Otherwise, when you're in that 7-second animation, he can just shoot you through the floor after detecting your heartbeat with his scanner. So because of that, Majestic had to go downstairs and clear him out, and then Majestic dies, and then just two people have died far away from the site. You just lose the 1 or 2 gunfights up above, and then everything just fell apart for LALOOSANCE.
So far, every score so far has been 7-5 on each of these teams' map picks. So, first map pick LALOOSANCE, they win 7-5. Next map pick Homeless, they win 7-5. Do you think we're going to see another 7-5?
I don't. I think we're actually going to find ourselves in overtime at this point. I think we will be getting all the way through to overtime. Do you?
I agree. I really think overtime is really realistic right now. I mean, it's brutal to see these teams fight. because both of these teams make mistakes, yes, but also it's not like they're falling apart. It's little mistakes. Both of these teams make it, and both of these teams recover right afterwards. So it's like you lose a round, you win a round. You lose a round, you win a round. And I don't know. It couldn't be more dramatic for my taste. Majestic starts with a shot onto Max's head, takes out the Max's, the Fragger, Jäger top floor as well. Once again, we do see a top floor take. Refrag is there right after from Optic onto Mowgli. So the next frag is off the board right after. What a trade.
And Mowgli, something to point out, has been 0-3 since the rehost, so his impact definitely stunted since then. But Foster, what are you doing? I'm pretty sure he can't go for a jump out. There must be a Nomad air jab on that window. There must be. If he...
I'm reloading.
Okay, so we're just getting from medics that there is actually an air jab position there. Yep, there you can see. So Foster can't jump out, but it's at least forcing someone to have a look up at that window and distract them from this actual execute that's about to come through.
I mean, you see these 4 guys setting up for that piano window and for the main lobby push. Just by opening that, he got the information. The bait is there, run out right after. Diffuser is down, damage is already dealt, and the kill has been successfully gotten there. And also Foster was able to get back into the building and is set up for another run out quite. So he has been droned, so they do know a potential run out might come up, but more people are peeking. Ours peeking too aggressively will get down by help of a nade as well. It's only 2 people last alive from the defensive side, but Foster goes for another walk outside, finds one. Diffuser is dropped just one more time. Majestic will be able to recover it, but time is once again ticking down, and Foster is still able to run out. Repositioning is happening from Mastermode and Majestic. Both know it will not be able to go in main lobby or piano window because there will be runouts and runouts and runouts.
Yeah, so instead they're moving over to Spiral and Benches, but it's gonna get tagged up immediately. Foster dealing a fair bit of damage onto Majestics, but not enough to get the kill. Majestics now peeking on Brown. He's actually gonna deal with the smoke as Foster takes down Mazdamod. Majestics with the diffuser in hand is pushed on up. The shield is gonna act as a little bit of defense for the Legion, but the pre-fire is gonna work on out for the first. But Foster, the star of this round, doing so much for his team, is going to secure it right at the end.
We are finally on match point. This is the last round before we go in overtime. Either Homeless will take it and finish it, or LALOOSANCE will take it to overtime. Whatever is going to happen, I am already putting it out. This was a fight.
They're wanting to go Archives and Tellers, a site that they've already lost. It was the very first site that Homeless wanted to play, and it was not entirely one-sided, but pretty one-sided. There was very little doubt that LALOOSANCE was going to win that. They were going to lose that. Yeah, going to lose. I was very confident that LALOOSANCE were going to take that round, and for Homeless to go back here is a very, very brave thing to do, and it might be slightly misguided.
I mean, according to my notes, the last time they lost it there was Mastermord's insane SMG-11 4K on Spiral Stairs, which of course is an individual step up, right? We're never forgetting about individual step ups, but it's very hard to reproduce these individual step ups. Like, of course, you do have your, I don't know, Ash just rushing in, or in this situation, the Sledge walking in and crushing with the SMG-11, everything which is moving, but it's really hard to reproduce it exactly that way. So it's kind of a little bit of a gamble, in my opinion, from Homeless. On the other side, you pointed out they could have gone, for example, into basement, but they also lost that. It's like playing with fire. You're going to lose potentially either way. You just have to pick whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, it did come down to Mazdamod's 4K, one of the nade through the SMG-11, but the round was the fact that 4 people had to challenge him on those stairs. It goes to show just how well LALOOSANCE had been set up, and there we are. Mowgli going to be getting the very first kill here in this round. Within the first 30 seconds, Foster, someone who's been so pivotal so often for Homeless, is already dead.
Not only that, but also a big chunk of the top floor control fell. We do see that mirror window set up there, but I don't think anyone else is now able to play behind it just because of the fact that it is cleared out already because of that opening frag. And that is not only that.
What? I think
Attackers
Ash
have
just.
located a bomb.
What's the single wall? The single wall was open, so the Ash just dropped down and got the knife. But now Mowgli, free run of the site, is gonna be trying to find someone to shoot at. But I think everyone from Homeless is actually downstairs in the basement. Yeah, so Optic is gonna be on the spiral stairs, trying to maybe get a little bit aggressive, and it's actually going to work out as he's going to take down Mowgli. We're in a 4 versus 3, but there's a minute 40 to go, which is a lot of time for LALOOSANCE to work with. But it's also very likely that Homeless might be able to pull this together and secure it out still. They have 3 C4s available. I'm trying to push on into Archives. It can be a very dangerous task for an attacker.
Absolutely, and especially with Pulse in hand and his gadget in play, they are able to spot whatever the defuse might go down and can toss their C4s towards it. You mentioned it, we do see 3 C4s, but on the other side, we do see a Sledge still getting rid of that precious of that floor. First C4 flying out, not landing on anyone. Majestic gets a little bit aggressive and tries to shut down the rotate throughout the bottom line, but he has to rotate back upstairs. The diffuser potentially goes down successfully. Massimort finds Optic, and yes, the diffuse goes down successfully without a problem whatsoever. Owls gets down as well and finished. It's down, it's over. We're going into overtime. This will be fought out up until the very last round.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I meant. They didn't have the ability to hold onto that middle floor successfully, and even with the C4s available, because they didn't have the kills to create the openings that people are looking the wrong way, and it comes down to that last second panic. It all just, there wasn't anything that Homeless could really do. But now we are seeing Homeless go onto the attack, and this is kind of a bit better for them. They did very, very well in their attacks. Obviously, I think it was the 3-3 either way, but I felt confident, more confident about Homeless's attacks than I did their defenses. So this could potentially give them the advantage they need to be able to secure it.
Seeing basement as the
Defenders,
side
protect your bombs
first
from
in
being
the
defused
first
by
round won
attackers.
by the defense. No, by the attackers, I'm sorry, and then by the defenders right after in the 4th round. A bomb site with a 50-50 rating so far statistically. So, I don't know. We did see this bomb site being played very aggressively in the past, especially by LALOOSANCE with the runouts. Just quickly like to highlight that. On the other side, I don't know. The first half of the map ended with 3-3 score. Now we're on 6-6 going into overtime. This could go either way. I mean,
5
it's
seconds to insertion.
quite late for the teams. They're probably running out of energy, but I love to see how aggressive Mowgli got. Once again, he knew he has to pull it off in the last round as Ash, he just walked in, he didn't stop, as we saw from him earlier today, and it is successful. And I think we could see that one more time right now.
Yeah. All of the last 36 rounds now count for nothing. It all comes down to these 3, and NFC is going to be starting it off by damaging Ryder just a little bit. The Sledge trying to throw a nade on in did actually destroy some of the bandit wires. The first time we've seen any hard breach to now being put on this garage wall so far, and it might slow down Homeless's push just a little bit and cause them to reconsider what they want to do, that they actually then need to go for a full piano clear, which is then going to slow them down even further, especially with Majestics wanting to get aggressive on those spiral stairs, and we actually see the Jaeger of Mowgli all the way up on the top floor inside a projector.
Honestly, right now, there's no real time to make big decisions. They already lost a minute without getting any map control whatsoever, and they're still indecisive of where they want to go. They do have to find their opinion quite soon, otherwise they will lack of time when they eventually hit the bomb spot, and they probably will lack of time. I can tell that already. Also, Spiralers could be a interaction quite soon as Massimorts is pushing down slightly and gently. And Majestic is also pushing his way to get the guys up there in lobby. The calls, of course, are coming in. Push comes in as well, but ours will win the first gunfight. Massimo is able to refrag. That was the trade, but that is what they needed to shut down the main lobby push and that flank. Maxis is still up there. He's still able to shut down most of the flares in the first floor, but we do see Mowgli still playing there as well, and he wants to find that frag like we talked about it, but Maxis is not giving up on that.
Yeah, but this is a really important fight that's going on around this middle floor. It's delaying. It's meaning that Homeless can't get as aggressive as they want. We are hearing smoke canisters get used, and Foss is going to be losing a little bit of his health. And Maxis, he's trying to challenge. He's aware that there's someone over by those white pipes, but because he's aware of Mowgli being nearby, he can't fully invest his commitments to it. Mowgli also, as time is running down, is going to need to push on up and potentially do something about Maxis so that he can more accurately assist from up above. And as we're moving into the last 30 seconds, this is when it's all starting to come down. The last smoke canister is used. Mowgli gets the kill onto Maxis, and the Optic is forced away from the plant. Ryber goes down to Slaz, and the peek on through by Optic is going to get one, but it's going to be traded out. MFZ with a double kill at the end to give LALOOSANCE round number 1 here, defending downstairs.
Not even the diffuser could go down just by a pure gunfight. The defenders took them into their favor. LALOOSANCE won the defense. Now they have to attack. On the other side, Homeless has to defend now. And you pointed out, I would agree. So far, you can't say some team has been more successful on attack, one team has been more successful on defense, because on every half of the map, it was a tie. So it will come down to the bomb spot. And yeah, we are seeing CEO and Meeting. Looking forward to that, because the last time Homeless defended that, they won it. They only played it once, so they might have still the favor of surprises ready and set up. But if you do see that crucial fragging power, especially looking at Mowgli, especially looking at MFC coming up once again, it might go in their favor. It might be over.
MFC 7 kills since the rehost. It didn't seem to affect him at all. I mean, same with Optic. Optic's also on 7, but Ryber has really been struggling. He hasn't gotten a single kill since we had that rehost, and I mean, time and time again, he wasn't necessarily the player to win the round, but he was important and pivotal in making sure that everyone else could go do their jobs, and that involves, at least in his situation, being able to collect a couple kills, and if he's not doing that, Homeless are really going to feel it.
Absolutely. Once again, no time for mistakes. You talked about it. It's basically as the first 12 rounds didn't happen. These 3 rounds in overtime will decide that the first round fell in favor of LALOOSANCE. The next one has to fall in favor for Homeless if they want to remain alive. Now, we're heading into the first minute being over already, almost in that match. I believe it's 30 seconds. Drones come in admin. Looks like quite a default setup. Getting admin from there and pushing to front desk, pushing to admin stairs, getting downstairs, of course, as well in Visa, just to be aware of C4 play. So there will be no one, so quite easy to take. But of course, Pulse giving all that intel to his teammates in basement comes in really handy. And once again, we do see Homeless mastering that Pulse gameplay.
Yeah. But already that admin control has been given over, and Mowgli was getting aggressive, but Maxis with a bullet hole all the way over by CEO. A beautifully long line of sight is going to get rid of that Ash before she can have any further impact on the round. It's really going to slow down and take the bite out of the LALOOSANCE attack, but it's not over for them yet. There's still quite a lot that can be done. MFC's still alive, and he's still going to be able to collect more kills, as Mazdamot shooting open the top of the wall to be able to throw a frag nade over in case there is someone positioned towards the back side of the site. That Pulse in basement is going to be a real worry, and I don't know if LALOOSANCE are aware that Pulse is even around.
I'm also not 100% aware of that, but I think the biggest mistake on short term is going to be time, because there's only 1 minute left for the attackers. It doesn't seem like they have the important bridges set up, It doesn't seem like their coordination is 100% there, but they do need to bring it into position now because the crosshairs are established by the defenders. And yes, smoke canisters are flying out as well, just to delay their push even more. We do hear so many guns firing right now. The defenders are pre-firing whatever they can. First frag grenade flies in. Ryba stays alive. Luckily for him, he's still able to fight back. Foster finds a frag onto Majestic. This might go into the last round. Max is also finding a frag onto MFC. People after people dying. Ours finds the refrag, but Slash does so as well. Is up to Slash. He has to fight if they want to finish it off without going into maximum overtime, but no. Homeless takes it. We will go into the final and last round.
Yeah, holding on. Homeless staying in it for one more round, and now they need to execute a perfect attack here. They need to somehow put it together and beat LALOOSANCE, who, I mean, they're gonna be forced to go up to that console office meeting room. They lost this site 3 times in their initial defense. They could go to the piano and lobby where they were actually successful and won that site out. This could be a bad showing now coming through from LALOOSANCE, although in overtime strange things do happen. Sites that you have lost time and time and time again all of a sudden look like dominant victories.
I mean, they just lost against a very good defensive hold. Maybe they can look up what Homeless did very well on that bomb side and adapt. If not, you pointed out they did not perform quite well on that bomb side, but they need to. Everything is on the line. I just want to highlight it once again. The last round, it comes down now to everything. After this round, it will be over. You can't say afterwards, well, something happened, I didn't perform well. It's over. This is the last chance to stay within CCS Season 5, to still have a chance to be crowned the champion and to have a chance to win our prize pool. If you lose, it's over. Eliminated.
That's it. And, I mean, after today, they're gonna, whoever wins is gonna have to go up and fight Team Wanted, but I don't want this game to end. It's all been building up to this one round, 2 brilliant maps before this, and now 14 rounds of back and forth action, no clear-cut winner.
My device is ready.
And it's all resting upon this one round. It's all gonna be decided by which team is gonna make a mistake, and it could just all slip away from either one of them at any moment.
Absolutely. And yeah, the round has started. The first utility chunks are tossed out and placed in position. Mowgli once again is peeking quite... Oh, no, sorry. That was the wrong tab. Don't worry me. Speaking about other things. Yeah, what I wanted to say is we still have that roam game in action. They are in need of taking map control and holding map control for as long as possible, because as we did see already in the past, LALOOSANCE is a strong team as long as they have map control. If they lose map control, they might crumble apart quite quickly. On the other side, Homeless is a team, if they get map control, they can really work with it. So holding Titan for as long as possible is really what you need. But right now, Homeless is devastating. All the utility chunks tossed out and placed into position by the defenders, by LALOOSANCE. First peeks from ours into the bomb site, not hitting anything. Mastermort actually taking a massive amount of damage in the act of staying alive and roaming, but that of course might be his death later on, because he's definitely going to be one shot.
Yeah, but keeping that pulse alive is going to be pivotal, as that can be key to denying a plant should it go down. But it's going to be Mowgli to get the headshot onto ours to start out the killing in this round. And that's a huge kill for Sophia. Dead, utility still in pocket. Optic does get a hole open on this wall, so they do have line of sight into projection. They are going to be aware that it is clear. And Ryba, he's again on this flank watch, which means that there's going to be a man down when going for the actual execute. And on the top that ours is dead, they're 2 men down. There's a lot of angles that aren't going to be covered just for having Ryba protect them from a C4 from below. Optic starting to push on in, is going to take a fair chunk of damage, and he's going to get finished off by MFC on a great long angle. Mowgli taking down Foster. It's now a 5 versus 2 as Max is goes. He's firing shots through the wall, but he's losing all of his health. He's gonna die to Majestic and River in a 1 versus 5. 15 seconds to go. It's gonna be Mastermod and LALOOSANCE to win this. Map 3, round 15.
Well, I did see a bunch of people out there in chat writing LALOOSANCE on top. They came out on top with a beautiful last match. Nothing has been gifted to their opponent.